Chapter 1254, Astonishing the Family. I'm back, it's alright, said Lin Feng in a gentle voice, caressing Xianye's hair. Everybody was smiling in a resplendent way. They had smiled and laughed so happily since the last time they had seen Lin Feng. Lin Feng made them truly happy. Fei Fei, you're back too, said Yu Menghe, grabbing her hand and smiling in a resplendent way. Auntie, said Lu Fei. She had a different feeling now. Since she was closer to Lin Feng, Yu Menghe was almost her mother now. You've been through so much, said Yu Menghe with compassion, you should call me something else though. Back then, Lu Fei had stayed alone in Lu Zhanglan's grave and she had cried and cried. After Lin Feng left, Yu Menghe used to go and see her all the time. Then she had insisted that Lu Fei should spend time with Xianye, but in the end, Lu Fei had decided to leave and go back to Duanren City. Yu Menghe could see that Lu Fei had changed though. She had come back with Lin Feng and she had noticed something different in Lu Fei's eyes. When Lu Fei heard Yu Menghe, she lowered her head shyly and said, "Mother." "Good girl," said Yu Menghe happily. She hugged Lu Fei and said, "From now on, Lin Hai and I are your mother and your father." She knew that Lu Fei had suffered a lot, like Xianye. Poor children. Xianye was born in a prestigious family and had been used by her family. She didn't have a mother, her father had died battling. Lin Feng was the only person they relied on and now he was away most of the time. Little Lin Feng is lucky, said Yu Menghe watching Lin Feng hug Xianye. Lin Feng was angry, he wasn't a baby anymore, but she looked at him in such a tender way that he felt happy. Xianye moved away from Lin Feng, wiped off her tears and smiled in a silly way. Her face was still red. "You have no tears left," said Lin Feng, caressing her cheeks and smiling. Lin Feng smiled and said, "Yunxi, Yi Shui." They both smiled at him. "You're back, little boy," said two voices. Two silhouettes appeared in the sky and landed in front of them. They looked at him in a strange way and blushed. Lin Feng looked at their black faces. He was surprised, laughed, and said, "Mr. Qi, Mr. Hua, you should wash your face before coming out." Everybody burst into laughter when they heard Lin Feng. "You're both cultivators of the Tian Qi layer, you should pay attention to your appearance," said Lin Hai jokingly. "You shouted and made our concoction explode," said Mr. Qi. Everybody laughed even more. The two old men grinded their teeth. "Lin Feng, come, you have to tell us everything you saw while traveling," said Mr. Qi, looking at Lin Feng as if he had been looking at a treasure. "Little Lin Feng, I want to know too." "What did you do abroad?" said Lin Hai. They couldn't see Lin Feng's cultivation level anymore, the difference was too great. Lin Feng was releasing no qi at all, he simply looked like an ordinary person, but they knew that Lin Feng had probably become a lot stronger. "Let's sit down and chat," said Lin Feng when he saw that everyone was so curious. Lin Feng and Duan Xianye sat down next to each other. Lu Fei sat down next to Duan Xianye, which made Lin Feng feel very happy. It meant that Xianye accepted Lin Feng and Lu Fei's relationship, just like she had accepted Lin Feng and Meng Qing's relationship. Now, they were all like sisters. Xiaoya left Lin Feng speechless, she went behind him and put her arms around him. In the central part of the continent, there is a province called the Ba Huang province. In the Ba Huang province, there are several regions: Central Ba Huang, the celestial part of Ba Huang, the brutal part of Ba Huang, the sanguinary part of Ba Huang, the northern, southern, eastern and western parts as well. Each region has its own groups of influence, including influential imperial groups. There are many strong cultivators, beasts, cultivation emperors, beast emperors. Lin Feng told them about those influential groups, about what he did while he was there, about Tian Tai, about his fellow disciples. Of course, Lin Feng didn't explain the details, he tried to only tell them things in a simple way. When Lin Feng said he had fought against Zun cultivators, the two old men's faces turned red, but it also made them want to become stronger. In the Ba Huang province, there was a powerful influential group called the Celestial Land of Alchemists that acted as a holy grounds for alchemists. They even had an emperor whose specialty was to concoct potions, pills and so on. There was Shui Bagyo, the holy girl who had a celestial body. Brother, after the celestial girl lost, did she really give you the pill? Did you save Meng Qing? Asked Xiaoya in Lin Feng's ears. Lin Feng nodded, she did, but the members of the celestial land of alchemists weren't happy and wanted to kill me. Beautiful girls have emotions, why didn't you fool her, brother? Asked Xiaoya giggling. Lin Feng rolled his eyes. How is Meng Qing now? Asked Xianyi, she looked nervous. She's good, she turned back into a human and now she's extremely talented now. She's still in Tiantai practicing cultivation and when you see her again, she will probably be a Zun cultivator, said Lin Feng smiling. A Zun cultivator, they were all astonished. So quickly. How incredible. I wouldn't have thought I'd have a Zun-level daughter-in-law so quickly, said Yu Menghe smiling. Zun cultivators were legendary cultivators to them, how strong. Little Lin Feng, what about your cultivation? Asked Lin Hai. They couldn't see his cultivation level so he had to ask. 8th Tian Qi layer, whispered Xiaoya. Everybody was astonished. Was she joking? Lin Feng was astonished too. He looked at her and smiled. She quickly said, brother, I just said that randomly. Xiaoya, you're amazing, said Lin Feng caressing her head, to which she reacted by tapping his shoulders. Brother, I'm now a grown-up, you can't touch my hair like that. Are you not my sister anymore because you're a grown-up? Said Lin Feng laughing. Little Lin Feng, have you really broken through to the 8th Tian Qi layer? Asked Lin Hai in amazement. 8th Tian Qi layer, that was incredible. He might even become a Zun cultivator, like in the legends. That's right, said Lin Feng nodding, I still have some progress to make before breaking through to the Zun Qi layer though. That's fine, I trust you, sooner or later, you'll become a Zun cultivator and amaze everybody, said Lin Hai. In Shuiyu, for many people, the Tian Qi layer was an ultimate goal, but now his son had almost broken through to the Zun Qi layer and he was only in his early 20s. Humph. Lu Fei groaned, making Lin Feng smile. Fei, what's wrong? Asked Yu Menghe. Mother, Lin Feng is hiding the truth, said Lu Fei smiling. Is Lin Feng lying? Isn't he really a cultivator of the 8th Tian Qi layer? Lin Hai was staring at Lin Feng. If he hadn't broken through to the 8th Tian Qi layer, then was he closer to becoming a Zun cultivator? Father, said Lu Fei, making Lin Hai smile. You don't know this, but on the way from Duanren City to Yangzhou City, in the former imperial city, we encountered several Zun cultivators, said Lu Fei. And what happened? Asked Lin Hai. Lu Fei glanced at Lin Feng, smiled and said, Lin Feng cut a Zun cultivator's arm off in one strike. Lin Hai, Mr. Hua, and so on were all astonished. Lin Feng had cut off a Zun cultivator's arm in one strike. Lin Feng had defeated a legendary cultivator in one strike. Little Lin Feng, tell us the truth, are you really a cultivator of the 8th Tian Qi layer? Asked Lin Hai. I am, said Lin Feng smiling wryly. Lin Hai was astonished. Father, I'm not done, said Lu Fei in a fragile voice. Lin Hai was surprised, what else? The others also looked at Lu Fei. Had he killed a Zun cultivator? After that, many Zun cultivators rose up in the air and released an incredible qi. I almost suffocated under their combined pressure. Everybody was listening, they were captivated. But Lin Feng said a few words and the Zun cultivators shut their mouths, a Zun cultivator even slapped his own face. Chapter 1255, Peaceful Times. Lin Hai and the others looked at Lin Feng in a strange way, was he that strong? Little Lin Feng, after Fortune City, did anything happen? Asked Lin Hai curiously. Long story made short, a lot happened in Fortune City and I became stronger. Besides that, there's no need to mention the details, otherwise I could talk for days and days, said Lin Feng laughing. Suddenly, his facial expression became very serious. Then he asked, Dad, I heard some people wanted to attack our palace. Lin Feng had wanted to ask the entire time, but everybody was so happy that he didn't want to ruin such a precious moment. Lin Hai remained silent for a few seconds, nodded and said, Lin Feng, in Yangzhou City, many strong cultivators have appeared. Many Zun cultivators are in the villages and there are 3 powerful groups who want to invade our palace. They gave us 3 days to leave, otherwise they'd kill us. Kill them? Lin Feng looked furious. Besides, they couldn't do that thanks to the deployment spell in the first place, otherwise, they would have already invaded the palace. They even killed a few Qixia soldiers, said Lin Hai. When Lin Feng was there, Lin Hai dealt with the affairs of the country. He had faced those strong cultivators and felt weak in front of them. He could only depend on the deployment spell. If we leave, we won't have the deployment spell anymore, so they can't decide what they want to do, said Lin Feng. I was wondering if having as many people as possible come into the area of the deployment spell, but if a strong cultivator manages to break it, then they'll kill us all, and even if they didn't manage to break it, we can't stay in there forever, said Lin Hai. That's a dilemma, said Mr. Hu sighing. They were weak so they were stuck. 3 days you said Lin Feng. Little Lin Feng, you can't fight, said Yu Menghe in a fragile voice. There are so many Zun cultivators, even though you're strong and can defeat a few Zun cultivators, you can't deal with Zun cultivators from 3 monumental influential groups. We can only hide and try to find another solution. If nothing works, we'll have to hide in the area of the deployment spell and see how long they will stay in Yangzhou City, said Lin Hai. He also hoped Lin Feng wouldn't fight. You need to become stronger, Lin Feng, said Mr. Qi. Lin Feng smiled. He knew everybody was worried about him. Besides, I sent some people around to scout the country. They're not only in Yangzhou City, they're everywhere in the country. The strongest cultivators, surprisingly, are where you used to study, in the Yunhai mountain range. I don't know how they go there though. They're from the Ba Huang province, like me, said Lin Feng smiling. No wonder they're so strong. They from Ba Huang. Little Lin Feng, don't fight, alright? You need time. First things first, are we staying or are we leaving? We'll listen to you. Lin Hai was terribly worried. Dad, I understand, said Lin Feng nodding. He didn't explain much because his parents were too worried anyways. Alright, little Lin Feng, you came all the way from Ba Huang province, so you've had a long trip and must be tired. Stay with Xinyi. Yu Meng, he said smiling. Feng had his own way of doing things. She had told her son her opinion, so now Lin Feng could decide what he wanted to do. Little Lin Feng, Meng Qing, Xinyi, and Fei Fei are all happy to have you in their life. You have to be a responsible man, she said, this time using telepathy. Her son had so many beautiful women, she was happy and proud, but she also hoped he was a responsible husband. Lin Hai and her had been separated for a long time, so she didn't hope the same would happen to Lin Feng and the women who loved him. Mom, I understand, said Lin Feng. Yu Meng, he glanced at him and smiled. Then, she said to Xinyi and Lu Fei, Xinyi, Fei Fei, enjoy your time with little Lin Feng. Then, they left. Mr. Qi and Mr. Hu smiled and left Lin Feng alone with the girls. Xinyi and Lu Fei looked at Yu Menghe in a shy way. Lin Feng looked at Xinyi, Xinyi, you've gone through so much. Xinyi put her hand on Lin Feng's mouth and said, you're back, I'm so happy. Let's go, there. Xinyi dragged Lin Feng to make him stand up and then walked to Lu Fei and grabbed her hand. Fei Fei, you're going to live with me too, right? Lu Fei used to live in the general's headquarters, but now, it was best for her to move on from those sad things. Thank you, said Lu Fei to Xinyi. We're a family, don't say thank you. We're sisters now, so let's go. The two girls were holding hands and had almost forgot about Lin Feng, making him smile wryly. Brother, I'm still the best for you, said Xiaoyu jumping on Lin Feng's back. Right, you're the best, said Lin Feng. She looked so slender and elegant, and at the same time she also acted like a kid. That was strange. Xinyi liked silence and elegance, so the place she had settled inside the palace had a river, a cave, some stones, and trees. Xiaoye and Yunxi also lived with Xinyi. A few girls together, living a happy life and not thinking about any of the sad things. No hot spring, said Lin Feng smiling, making Xinyi's face turn red. Tonight, Fei Fei and I will share a bed, you can sleep in the bamboo forest, said Xinyi. Lin Feng smiled. He had just come back, so why was she so cruel? There should be space for a third person, whispered Lin Feng. Xinyi gulped down and said, you're so indecent. Fei Fei, come with me and just ignore him. Xinyi and Lu Fei walked towards the cave and left Lin Feng behind. Like in the past, when Xinyi and Meng Qing were together, they ignored him. Master, you can sleep in my bed and I can share a bed with Yunxi, said Yi Shui. She couldn't help it when she saw Lin Feng smile wryly. Lin Feng looked at the sky and nodded, all right, thank you Yi Shui. Don't say thank you, you're the master and I'm your servant. I'll clean the room for you even, said Yi Shui running ahead, followed by Yunxi. Lin Feng looked at Xiaoye and asked, Xiaoye, do you miss your grandpa? Xiaoye remained silent and nodded. We'll go and see him together, sooner or later, said Lin Feng caressing her head. Yep, we have to become even stronger first. There are many powerful cultivators in the holy city. Until you go there, you won't understand what a powerful place it is. It's even more incredible than the Ba Huang province, said Xiaoye giggling. Xiaoye, you should become stronger too, good luck, said Lin Feng smiling. Lin Feng was becoming stronger and stronger, so he knew even more things. Back then, Mr. Xiao had given him a talisman. It wasn't complete but it contained a thread of godly awareness, and even though it was only a thread, Mr. Xiao had terrified a Zun cultivator. Mr. Xiao's strength must be unfathomable. Chapter 1256, Xinye's path. Lin Feng was lying on a bed that night, his eyes were open and he was enjoying the calmness of the night. Unfortunately, those next several days weren't going to be peaceful, especially in the Yunhai mountain range. So for the time being, he wanted to enjoy the calmness and peacefulness of being with his friends and family. Lin Feng heard the door, smiled and closed his eyes. Xinye's head poked in. She slowly walked towards him and lied down next to Lin Feng. However, Lin Feng acted as if he was sound asleep. You're pretending, said Xinye unhappily, and then she shook Lin Feng. Lin Feng burst into laughter, he grabbed her head and dragged her to him. What, you missed me, said Lin Feng holding her tight. She turned red and nodded. And you're sleeping here happily, but you didn't even come to look for me, said Xinye unhappily. I was afraid to be indecent, said Lin Feng. Humph. Lin Feng pulled her face to his and kissed her lips. Xinye became petrified, her eyes were suddenly filled with endless love and passion. Lin Feng put his hands on her face and said, Xinye, how come you've become so strong? Lin Feng thought that the strongest cultivator of the palace was neither his father, his mother, Mr. Qi, nor Mr. Hua, but Xinye. She had already broken through to the 5th Tian Qi layer, a few more levels and she'd start scaring Shuaiyu with her cultivation level alone. How come though? After all, in the past, she didn't like practicing cultivation that much. Xinye looked at him in a strange way as if she wasn't sure either. I don't know either. Suddenly, it was as if someone had taught me cultivation, and suddenly my skills were getting even better. Lin Feng was surprised. How strange. Xinye and Xin had so many things in common and they looked exactly the same. Lin Feng, what's wrong? Xinye asked because Lin Feng had suddenly looked strange. I'm alright, said Lin Feng in a gentle way. Xinye just smiled in a gentle way. Lin Feng, Fei Fei is still in my room, I'll sleep here, you go and join her, said Xinye pushing Lin Feng. Lin Feng shook his head, smiled and said, you came here, do you want to escape from the devil now? Mwahaha. Xian Ye's face turned completely red when she heard him. Lin Feng's hands slid into her clothes. Xian Yi turned her head and she didn't look at him, her face was extremely red. Lin Feng was terribly aroused. He was moving slowly as he grabbed her head and made her turn around. Then he kissed her passionately. At the same time, he put his hand on her perfect breasts and touched her gently, making her moan. Xian Yi put her arms around Lin Feng, slowly getting into the mood. Lin Feng slowly took her clothes off, they took each other in the arms and became one. Xian Yi, said Lin Feng while he was on top of Xian Yi. Xian Yi opened her eyes and looked at Lin Feng. Xian Yi, no matter what happens, you must remember that I love you deeply, you're my beloved wife, said Lin Feng, while continuing to make love with her. All right. I know, said Xian Yi dragging Lin Feng close to her again. She only loved Lin Feng. He was the closest person she had in her life. Xian Yi didn't try to hide her moaning, her voice was loud and could be heard all around, even outside of the room. Lin Feng, that's my world, make love to me like a beast, said Xian Yi. She was terribly aroused, her voice incredibly arousing too. Lin Feng then made love to her with even more passion. After a long time, they stopped and snuggled, it all felt like a dream. Xian Yi was in Lin Feng's arm, she was sweating, and her face was red. She felt shy after finishing and didn't dare look at Lin Feng. Lin Feng didn't say anything, he just held Xian Yi in his arms and caressed her. A moment before, while they were making love, it seemed like they had ended up in another world. Xian Yi seemed like she had learned how to create a parallel world. Lin Feng had also learned how to cast territorial spells when he had broken through to the 5th Tian Qi layer, but he didn't ask her about that. Instead, he just held her tight, as if he were scared that she would leave him. Humans belong to the earth belongs to the sky follows Taoism, and Taoism follows nature. Nothing controls anything, nature takes its course, the heart and the mind, feelings and desires, let us awake to the truth and attain enlightenment, said Xian Yi raising her head and looking at Lin Feng. Nature didn't oppress the heart and the mind, it didn't oppress desires and feelings, everything was natural, the 10,000 things of creation were part of nature. No wonder Xian Yi had become so strong, her ways of thinking had changed completely. She had already started walking on the path of enlightenment. You've become so strong, my little Xian Yi, said Lin Feng smiling. Xian Yi smiled, she was still very pure, she was in love, and Lin Feng acknowledging her. My silly girl, said Lin Feng cuddling with Xian Yi. Then, they fell asleep, relaxed and happy. Nothing could pollute their thoughts. That night, Lin Feng slept great. When he woke up, Xian Yi was already dressed and sitting next to him, she was caressing his hair and looking at him. Xian Yi, I want to do it again, said Lin Feng jokingly. Xian Yi blushed and rolled her eyes, hurry up and get out of bed. I need to clean the room, it's Yi Shue's room. Lin Feng smiled wryly and got up. He had forgotten it was Yi Shue's room. After a short while, they finished cleaning the room and got out. Brother, said Xiaoya as if she had been waiting outside for a while. She then looked at Xian Yi, her eyes were twinkling as she said, Xian Yi, the clothes you put on today look really nice. Xian Yi blushed when she heard that. Xiaoya laughed and walked towards Lin Feng, she grabbed his hand and said, Brother, yesterday evening, you had your fun with Xian Yi, so today, you have to stay with me because we rarely do things together. Alright, we can spend some time together, said Lin Feng caressing her head. And Yun Shi and Yi Shui also want to come, said Xiaoya giggling. Alright, all together, said Lin Feng nodding. He hadn't had any time to walk around in Yangzhou City yet. Lin Feng was happy to walk around, explore, see his city. After 2 days, he would start taking care of personal matters again. He was wondering what it looked like inside the Yunhai mountain range. There were still strong cultivators in Yangzhou City though, he had to see what he could do about that. If something happened in Yangzhou City, the whole country would be in trouble. Early in the morning, inside Yangzhou City, it was particularly calm and peaceful. They were walking on the main road, the breeze was brushing against their bodies. What a beautiful girl, who is that young man? He looks extraordinary and rich, thought some people. A man and a few beautiful girls walking on the street, how could people not notice that? Besides, they seemed quite close. Amongst the two most beautiful girls, one looked natural and pure, the other looked hot and seducing. There was also a slender and elegant girl. "Brother, look," said Xiaoya running towards a vendor's booth. There were all sorts of things there, hairpins, toys, etc. In Yangzhou City, there were many stands with such things, but in the Bahuang province, such things were extremely rare. Lin Feng felt calm and peaceful. People in Yangzhou City were stronger than they used to be. Lin Feng looked at Xiaoya and felt happy. Trot, 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 in the distance, there were horses sprinting. The leaders were a young man and a young girl. The young man looked extraordinary while the girl looked heroic. She was wearing a fiery red robe and she was beautiful, but looked indifferent. That's Lin Qian, the beautiful girl from the Lin clan. Unfortunately, the Lin clan expelled Lin Feng in the past, otherwise Yangzhou City would be theirs, thought some people when they saw that girl. In the past, the Lin clan had expelled Lin Feng and then he had started rising and ruling over Shuiyu. Everybody knew that stuff. Everybody talked about the legendary Lin Feng when having a cup of tea or a meal with friends and family. Of course, sometimes people also thought about Lin Qian. Apart from Lin Feng, she was the strongest cultivator of the Lin clan. Especially those days, since Lin Qian had come back to the Lin clan, she had become quite strong. Chapter 1257, Gathering in the Palace. Lin Feng also noticed the girl in red, riding a horse. He looked calm and yet, a bit surprised. Lin Qian, thought Lin Feng. Seeing her made him remember a lot of things. Lin Qian used to be the most dazzling young cultivator of the Lin clan and she used to despise him. She had even made friends with Chu Zhanpeng, who was a great cultivator, until Lin Feng took care of him. Now, Lin Qian had already broken through to the Tian Qi layer, but she hadn't broken through to the Tian Qi layer for a long time yet. In fact, her qi appeared rigid. For Lin Feng, that was nothing, but for the Lin clan, that was incredible and they felt terribly proud to have such a cultivator. Lin Qian made her horse stop not far from Lin Feng and she looked at him. Lin Feng looked confident and at ease, handsome, and as young as before. However, his qi had changed. Back then, Lin Feng looked excited and impulsive, now he looked calm, almost like he was at peace with himself. Lin Qian didn't know what to think. I can't see how strong he is, thought Lin Qian, disappointed. She had practiced cultivation diligently to surpass him and she was full of hope, but now she couldn't see how strong he was, so he was probably a medium-level Tian cultivator. Do you know him? Asked the young man next to Lin Qian. Surprisingly, in Shuiyu, there was another young man who looked like he had power and influence. He was also surrounded by many beautiful girls, none of them were any weaker than Lin Qian. I don't, said Lin Qian indifferently and calmly. Then, that young man smiled coldly and trotted towards Lin Feng. Piss off, shouted that young man in a cold way. He punched the air in front of him and a hand appeared. Lin Qian looked at the young man, she appeared emotionless, but on the inside, she was happy. She still couldn't defeat Lin Feng, but the young man who was with her probably could, he had to be stronger. An illusion appeared and a strong wind started blowing. Slash, Lin Feng performed a hand knife strike in the air. The illusion disappeared and the wind stopped blowing. He stopped the horse and sword qi emerged. The horse neighed and collapsed, dead. The young man frowned, jumped forwards and threw himself at Lin Feng like a ferocious animal. You're acting recklessly, shouted that young man furiously. Golden lights appeared around his hand. Lin Feng stretched out his hand slowly. When the young man saw that Lin Feng was still calm and indifferent, it made him even more furious. Kacha! A subtle sound spread in the air and then the young man gave a horrible shriek. Lin Feng grabbed him by the throat and was holding him in the air. Ah! The young man kept shouting furiously. His hand was broken, his face was deathly pale, and he was suffocating. You dare attack me, said the young man whose eyes were now bloodshot. He was glaring at Lin Feng. In a feudal country such as Shuiyu, someone dared attack him and break his hand. He was acting arrogantly as if he had forgotten what had just happened. Lin Feng didn't say anything, he just violently threw the young man to the ground, causing the ground to break. A crater appeared, blood splashed, and the young man coughing out blood. His face was completely white and his organs were torn to shreds. Lin Qian was astonished and shaking. How was that possible? She knew how strong that young man was, he had broken through to the 7th Tian Qi layer. How could Lin Feng defeat him in one strike? Lin Feng, stop, shouted Lin Qian when she saw that Lin Feng was walking towards that young man again. Lin Feng looked at her and said indifferently, may I help you? You can't offend him. You don't want anything to happen to your family and friends, so stop, shouted Lin Qian. That young man's clan had invaded the Lin clan, if anything happened to him while she was having a walk with him, something bad could happen to the Lin clan. I can't offend him, said Lin Feng indifferently. Then, Yishui said to Lin Feng using telepathy, young master, I've seen him before, he's from one of the 3 powerful families who threatened our government. Lin Feng looked at Lin Qian in a cold way, making her feel scared. If the Lin clan gets involved, I won't be as merciful as I may have been, said Lin Feng. Lin Qian ran towards the young man who was shouting in pain. Lin Feng, that's the king of Shuiyu, that's Lin Feng. No wonder he's with so many beautiful girls, our king is back. Many people noticed them after Lin Qian shouted his name, everybody knew who he was. Also, everybody knew that some people were threatening the imperial palace of Shuiyu. Now that Lin Feng was back, what would happen? Ah, that young man realized his cultivation had been crippled, so he was furious. For someone from the Ba Huang province, having your cultivation crippled was a nightmare, it was the same as being dead or a piece of trash. What a humiliation! I'll destroy your whole family and clan, said the young man furiously. You'll regret Lin Feng, said Lin Qian pulling a long face. If the young man's clan was furious, for her, it would be a nightmare. I don't need you to worry about me, said Lin Feng indifferently. Then, he kicked the young man whose body flew away in Lin Qian's direction. Lin Qian caught him and Lin Feng said, piss off. Trot. Her horse left with the young man. Then she said, you will regret this. Lin Feng didn't pay any attention to her. Since Lin Feng knew that young man was from one of the 3 groups of influence who threatened the country, it was an even better reason to cripple his cultivation. Lin Feng looked at the girl feeling sorry. He smiled and said, it seems like we're good for today. Oh no, said Xiaoya annoyed. They already had to go back. King Lin Feng is back. Let's go to the palace to see those 3 influential groups. Now that Lin Feng has offended one of them, the consequences will be tragic. Maybe the king will just hide in the protected area, thought some people watching Lin Feng leave. Even though their king was strong, there were so many Zun cultivators, so what could he do against them? Lin Qian went back to the Lin clan and told the young man's family that some people from the government of Yangzhou had crippled his cultivation. Then, many people left the Lin clan and flew towards the imperial palace of Shuiyu. After they left, Lin Qian told her clan that the one who had crippled the young man's cultivation was Lin Feng. Her clan still had mixed feelings about him. Last time, Lin Feng had amazed the whole country, and the whole town. Some of them hoped that Lin Feng would come back to their clan, but they had been too unfair to Lin Feng and his father. How could Lin Feng go back to the Lin clan? Yangzhou city was too small for Zun cultivators. When the 2 other groups of influence heard about what was happening, they also went to the government. They wouldn't have to wait 2 more days it seemed. Everybody was going to the governmental buildings now. Chapter 1258, Sharing the Imperial Palace. After Lin Feng went back to the governmental buildings, Lin Feng made everyone get inside the protection area. He didn't want them to get injured or killed. After all, they couldn't compete with Zune cultivators. 3 powerful groups with Zune cultivators. Even though the people of Yangzhou City had accepted their presence for a while, they were scared that they could destroy the country. Little Feng, you're going to do something. Luckily, you gave us time to get prepared, said Lin Hai. He sounded extremely worried. Lin Feng smiled and said nothing. He took out a sword talisman. With Jiang's speed, no matter who had arrived first, whether they had used the Tian-Su teleportation portal or not, everybody should be in Shuiyu now, including Jiang. Dealing with 3 powerful groups shouldn't be a problem, and after dealing with those people, he'd have to go to the Yunhai mountain range. The palace wasn't guarded by enough strong cultivators, so Lin Feng intended to make some strong cultivators from Jiang protect the palace of Yangzhou City and the valleys of Shuiyu. Plops. Lin Feng broke the talisman and smiled. Invading his palace wouldn't be that easy. If they want to attack, they can. We'll just stay in the protected area, but I don't think they'll stay in Yangzhou City forever, whispered Yu Menghe. Lin Hai nodded and said, I wouldn't have thought that a powerful group would stay at the Lins. I hope they're not plotting something. Even though the Lin clan despised Lin Hai, he had their blood after all. Get the hell out of there. Get the hell out of there, get the hell out of there, an extremely loud voice echoed, making the palace shake. They arrived quickly, whispered Lin Hai. The Imperial Guards were at the front of the protected area while Lin Hai and the others were on the edges. Between them, there was nothing. The first powerful group to arrive was the group which had stayed at the Lins. The young man whose cultivation had been crippled by Lin Feng was there too, but someone was helping him walk. Dad, that's him. Help me destroy him, said the young man. Lin Feng had crippled his cultivation, so there would be no mercy. At that moment, Lin Hai had activated the deployment spell and oppressive energies invaded the area. Even Zune cultivators couldn't break that spell. Do you think that you can hide in that protection spell? Said the young man's father. Initially, I wanted to scare you away, but since you're asking for it, I'll kill you all regardless. Dad, I want all those girls, said the young man pointing at the beautiful women standing behind Lin Feng. Alright, I'll give them all to you, said that Zune cultivator. Are you done talking shit? Said Lin Feng indifferently. If you want to attack, can you hurry up, please? Said Lin Feng, further infuriating those people. The young man's father turned around and said, let's surround the protected area and set the walls on fire, we'll slowly burn them to death like roasted pigs. Alright. What a bunch of reckless insects, said someone else. They couldn't imagine that such a small country would dare offend them. Besides, they called that building an imperial palace, something belonging to a king. How can they be so ignorant? A second powerful group arrived. Remember, do not destroy the buildings, even though a bunch of insects live here, the buildings are extremely beautiful. In the future, this territory will be ours, said one of the leaders. Bunch of ignorant insects, we gave you time and you still didn't get the hell out of there, said someone from the third powerful group, just now arriving. Someone from another of the 2 groups said, how should we share that imperial palace after we're done? It's big enough, we can divide it into 3 parts, suggested someone else. Alright, I don't mind. We can join hands to destroy the deployment spell and then, those who kill the most people can choose whatever part they want first. What do you think? Asked the young man's father. Join hands to break the deployment spell. People in the protected area looked terrified. Could so many strong cultivators break the deployment spell? Were they going to die? The crowd outside of the governmental buildings and in the city center were also terrified. Alright, they're only a bunch of insects. We gave them an opportunity and they let it slip, so let's kill them. At that moment, Lin Qian and the Lin clan arrived too. The government of Yangzhou City could be destroyed at any moment, so they had mixed feelings. I told you that you would regret what you did and now you're going to die, said Lin Qian. She wanted to fight on the young man's side now, otherwise, his clan would be offended and they'd kill them. Lin Feng looked at her and smiled indifferently. Stop overthinking things. Lin Feng was surprisingly remaining calm under this pressure. Does he have that much faith in his deployment spell? Wondered many people outside of the palace. Last time King Lin Feng came back, he surprised all of us, thought many people. You're dull and stupid. You want to bring about your own destruction, said Lin Qian. But Lin Feng didn't look at her, he just smiled indifferently. Jianghe people had arrived already. Lin Feng turned to the three powerful groups, rose up in the air and left the protected area. Little Lin Feng, shouted Lin Hai, he didn't understand what he was doing. Little Lin Feng, what are you doing? Asked Yu Menghe, she was also scared. Lin Feng, shouted Xin Yi. But Lin Feng turned around, smiled at them in a resplendent way and said, don't worry, just leave them to me. His smile was full of confidence. He came out, the crowd was surprised, also wondering what he was doing. He's insane. Tap, tap, Lin Feng continued to walk in their direction. Father, said the young man whose cultivation had been crippled. He couldn't wait to see Lin Feng die. Who wants to have him? Don't kill him, just cut off his arms and capture him, said the young man's father. Lin Feng stopped and raised his head, looking at the three groups. Then, he said indifferently, I hope you remember what you just said because I will. The enemies were surprised. What a naive guy, thought some people. How could Lin Feng be so confident? How stupid. A Zun cultivator came out and looked at Lin Feng in a disdainful way, little boy, you are just a frog in a well. He condensed fire energies in his hand and the temperature suddenly increased. Then, he threw a fireball and launched himself at Lin Feng. A Zun cultivator, according to legends, can destroy countless people in a single punch, thought the crowd. Chapter 1259, Jianghe's intervention. Lin Feng rose up in the air and raised his fist at the fireball. Suddenly, a gigantic black hand appeared which blotted out the sky. The fireball seemingly couldn't move forwards as the terrifying demonic chi rolled in waves in the air. Kaboom, the two hands collided. The Zun cultivator's attack was blocked and destroyed. Ah! The Zun cultivator gave a horrible shriek as his arm exploded. His face was now deathly pale. A strong wind brushed against his body. He lowered his head just in time to see a fist reach his chest. Then his organs were crushed. His body fell down and the atmosphere was suddenly eerily silence. They were all staring at Lin Feng, he had killed a Zun cultivator in one punch. Our king, the Qi Xia inside the protected area were amazed. One strike. One shot. That was their general, their king. Little Feng is so strong, he can kill ordinary Zun cultivators in one punch. But there are so many strong cultivators here, thought Lin Hai and Yu Menghe, still extremely nervous. They were proud, but at the same time, there were so many strong cultivators in front of them. Boom boom, boom boom. Lin Qian's heart suddenly started pounding, like it was going to explode. All the other members of the Lin clan felt exactly the same. They knew Lin Feng's past better than anyone else. Now, the piece of trash they had expelled from the clan could kill legendary Zun cultivators in one punch. Dad, one person isn't enough, you should join hands or you should make a cultivator of the second Zun Qi layer attack him. That should be enough to destroy him easily, said the young man. His father nodded and said, unfortunately, we found a beast here, but as before, he has to die. Who wants to kill him this time? I'm going, said a cultivator of the second Zun Qi layer. He released Qi and was quickly bathing in a golden fire Qi. There were a few black dots in his fire as well. Killing a cultivator of the 8th Tian Qi layer is no problem for you, but you shouldn't underestimate him, said the young man's father using telepathy. I know, I will use a cosmos burning punch and kill him in a single punch, said that cultivator. The young man's father nodded. The cosmos burning punch contained fire abstruse energies, so it was extremely powerful. He landed in front of Lin Feng. Die, shouted that cultivator furiously. A gigantic cosmos burning punch appeared and descended from the sky. The ground began charring under its heat. Die, yelled the young man. Everybody was expecting the worst for Lin Feng. However, a dazzling sword appeared in the sky. It descended and cleaved the cosmos burning punch in half, and the silhouette in the sky strangely stopped moving. What's going on? That sword attack was so fast, the crowd was shook. Blood splattered, causing the crowd to hold their breaths. The silhouette in the sky was a cultivator of the second Zun Qi layer. He and his fire had been cut in two. How strong, thought those from Yangzhou City. Lin Qian and the Lin clan were surprised again. Lin Feng had become so strong that they couldn't even imagine what it was like to be that strong. Some of them honestly believed that they were dreaming. You're not from here. You're from abroad, said the young man's father, trying to judge Lin Feng. Lin Feng had only broken through to the 8th Tian Qi layer and was already an incredible fighter. Even the 10 strongest young cultivators from the Ba Huang province weren't capable of that. Does that matter? Said Lin Feng, sounding indifferent. He glanced over the 3 powerful groups. Kill him, together, said the young man. His father looked at the 2 other powerful groups and said, don't you have some strong cultivators? But the leader from one of the groups frowned. A cultivator of the 8th Tian Qi layer had killed a cultivator of the 2nd Zun Qi layer using only a sword. There was one person that fit that description in the Ba Huang province. He, we only came here for one thing. How could we steal other people's territories, said that person, smiling. Huh. They had all agreed that they wanted to kill them all and share their territory, but now he wanted to back off. Even if Lin Feng was able to kill cultivators of the 2nd Zun Qi layer, that was no reason to run away now. What do you mean? Asked the young man's father. Then, he looked at the leader from the other group and he frowned too. Then, he looked at Lin Feng again and thought about something. Your Excellency, who are you? Whoever had just talked realized something after hearing that question. He was suddenly furious. What a moron. He then hastily said, I have nothing to do with what happened today. I'm off. Wait, said Lin Feng. That person looked upset and glanced at the young man's father furiously. Now he wants to go, thought Lin Feng, smiling coldly. He said indifferently, if you want to leave, try and see what happens, said Lin Feng. He slowly turned around, his mouth twitched, and he said to Lin Feng, I just came to watch as a guest. Please forgive me if I said anything that offended you. As a guest, said Lin Feng, smiling joyfully. Lin Feng wanted to play, to have some fun. He could use them now, so why not enjoy it? What's his name? Asked the young man's father as if he had thought about something. He looked terribly unhappy and was glaring at Lin Qian. Lin Qian looked skeptical. What was wrong with those people? Why had they changed their opinions so suddenly? Lin Feng, said Lin Qian. Only 2 words, but they were 2 explosions in their hearts. That young man was Lin Feng. The people from Yangzhou City saw how astonished those people were and how vast their facial expressions changed. What was going on? Why did 3 powerful groups react like that? Even the young man whose cultivation had been crippled by Lin Feng looked terrified, his face turned deathly pale. Lin Qian couldn't know that Lin Feng's name could have such repercussions. Lin Feng's parents also looked astonished. Was Lin Feng that famous? Lin Hai looked at Lu Fei and remembered what she had told him about encountering some Zun cultivators on their way over. Is little Lin Feng famous in the Ba Huang province? Whispered Lin Hai. At that moment, Lin Feng gazed into the distance and recognized some sword qi whistling. Then, some silhouettes pierced through the clouds and quickly made their way over. What a terrifying group of people, thought the crowd, shaking. The faces of the 3 powerful groups suddenly turned deathly pale, like sheets of paper. Those people were from Jiang'a. Chapter 1260, The Slaves. Oh no, such bad luck, thought the people from the three powerful groups. They knew that they were facing Lin Feng, so now they knew that those people who were arriving were from Jiang'a. They regretted everything now. Who could have thought that Lin Feng, a genius who had recently risen in the Ba Huang province, would appear in the imperial palace of Shuiyu? Besides, it seemed like Lin Feng was from there, that tiny country. A cultivator from such a small country has amazed everyone in the Ba Huang province. How had Lin Feng ended up in Ba Huang? The crowd looked at the arriving cultivators. There were 36 strong cultivators in total. They all bowed in front of Lin Feng at the same time and shouted in unison, "Young master." Lin Feng was the leader of those terrifyingly strong people. Kacha! Lin Hai clenched his fists and his bones crackled. He couldn't believe his eyes. Yu Menghe, Xin Yi and all the others were completely dumbstruck. The Qi Xia army, everyone in the palace was astonished and had the feeling they were suffocating. Their general, their king, had conquered other territories and possessed other armies? Was that why those three powerful groups seemed terrified after hearing Lin Feng's name? Shuiyu, Lin Feng, why isn't it Lin Clan, Lin Feng, instead? Thought the Lin Clan. Lin Feng looked calm and serene. He looked at the 36 strong cultivators. "Surround them," demanded Lin Feng. "Roger, young master," said the strong cultivators from Jiang'a. Their sword and their silhouettes flickered as they surrounded the three powerful groups. "Lin Feng, your excellency, I just told you we only came as guests, please forgive us," said one of the leaders smiling. But Lin Feng ignored him and said, "If anyone takes one step, kill them." "Roger," said the strong cultivators from Jiang'a. How strong are the cultivators who call Lin Feng, young master, thought the crowd. They were curious now. They couldn't know who those strong cultivators from Jiang'a were. They could only use their eyes to make guesses. "Lin Feng, your excellency, what can we do for you to forgive us?" "We'll do anything," said the strong cultivator when he saw that Lin Feng wasn't listening to him. Lin Feng ignored him again. Those people wanted to kill his friends and family a moment before. The enemies noticed one particular person from Jiang'a, an old man that they had seen before. He was one of the senior officials of Jiang'a, an extremely strong Zun cultivator. He was a lot stronger than some of the Zun cultivators who were at Mr. Wen's birthday ceremony. He might have already broken through to the 8th Zun Qi layer. "Can you keep those people under control?" asked Lin Feng to the older Zun cultivator. Even though those people should die, they could also become slaves and protect the palace. In Jiang'a, we have a godly awareness technique where we can divide into many swords and control people's godly awareness, but the caster's godly awareness must be stronger than the enemy's. Therefore, only cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer can control them, replied the old man from Jiang'a respectfully. "Apart from you, are there any other cultivators of the top of the Zun Qi layer?" asked Lin Feng. "Jian Ling Kong, Jian Ling Shao," shouted the senior official loudly. Two silhouettes flickered and landed in front of Lin Feng. They shouted in unison, "At your service, young master." Two more cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer, thought Lin Feng. He was satisfied. 3 cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer was already incredible, even in the Ba Huang province. "I'm going to ask you something, did they get involved in your plan to invade the imperial palace?" asked Lin Feng pointing at Lin Qian and the Lin clan. If they had accepted to help them, Lin Feng would never forgive them. "It has nothing to do with them," said the young man's father honestly. "Lin Feng, your excellency, we made a mistake and we are willing to give you all our treasures. Please forgive us and let us go, don't take over our godly awareness." "Control your godly awareness," whispered Lin Feng. He smiled coldly and said, "You wanted to kill us, and those who would kill the most would choose their territories first, but now, you want to live? That's ridiculous." "I don't want to see any blood lost," said Lin Feng indifferently to the senior official from Jiang'a. The senior official understood and shook his hand, "I want you to work cleanly." Slash, slash, sword chi dashed to the skies. The 30-something cultivators' silhouettes flickered and the enemies' faces turned deathly pale. "No!" shouted someone furiously. They wanted to escape, but their sword chi was overwhelming. The sword lights quickly disappeared, but there were still trails of sword chi left in the air. The crowd realized that nobody was left on the side of the young man's group. Just like Lin Feng had said, there was no blood at all. "Those people who call Lin Feng, young master, are terrifying," thought the crowd. "You two, take a group each and take control over them," said Lin Feng to Jian Ling Kong and Jian Ling Shao. "Roger, young master," said those two cultivators, nodding in unison. One landed in front of a group, and the other in front of the another group. The two cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer released their godly awareness towards their third eyes. After taking control of all those people, they could see everything they were doing. If they ever betrayed them, the strong cultivators from Jiang'e could simply kill them. From now on, they were slaves. "I will give you 10 years. During those 10 years, you'll work for the Imperial Palace of Shuiyu. After those 10 years, I will let you go. Of course, in 10 years, if I consider that you haven't taken your duty seriously, don't blame for being merciless," said Lin Feng indifferently. Their life was in Lin Feng's hands. "Jian Ling Kong, Jian Ling Shao, you two stay in the Imperial Palace for now and protect the people who live there," said Lin Feng to the two cultivators of the top of the Zun Qi layer. There were still some problems to solve in Shuiyu, so for the time being, Lin Feng had to make sure Yangzhou City was safe. "Roger, young master," said Jian Ling Kong and Jian Ling Shao. "You bring the others to the Yunhai mountain range, don't fight anyone else and wait for my orders," said Lin Feng to the senior official of Jiang'e. He nodded and left with the rest of the group. They were now heading for the Yunhai mountain range. Chapter 1261, Going to the Yunhai mountain range, they left, thought the crowd, both astonished and confused still. "Dad," said Lin Feng. Lin Hai came to him and smiled. Lin Feng walked towards his dad and glanced at the two powerful groups coldly. They were all dumbstruck and shaking, they still couldn't believe that they had become slaves. "From now on, you will obey my father, understood?" said Lin Feng. Those people's mouths twitched, but then they saw Lin Feng's eyes filled with murder, so they immediately nodded one after the other. "We understand. Dad, if any one of them disobeys, tell those two and they'll kill them," said Lin Feng to his father. Lin Feng had never thought that someday, he'd have Zun cultivators as slaves. "If there is anything you don't understand about cultivation, you can also ask them anything," said Lin Feng. Lin Hai smiled. Indeed, they could learn a lot to learn from Zun cultivators. Lin Feng looked at Lin Qian and the Lin clan. They didn't belong to the same world anymore. "Piss off," shouted Lin Feng to Lin Qian. Lin Feng then turned around and didn't look at her again. She should have been happy that Lin Feng didn't kill them, but she was sad. Lin Feng looked at her with despise each time he saw her. She had taken such great efforts to become stronger, and because of that she thought she'd be able to catch up with him at some point, but the difference was now too great. She turned around, looking extremely depressed and left. The Lin clan also looked at Lin Feng and left, depressed. People from Yangzhou City also dispersed. They were unable to come back to their senses for a long time after that. There were problems in Yangzhou City, but their king came back and solved all their problems. Lin Feng had assigned 2 Zun cultivators to stay in the Imperial Palace of Shuiyu. That would be great for Lin Hai and the others. They had to take advantage of that opportunity. Lin Feng would have to leave town soon again and he'd continue becoming even stronger. "Brother, you're so strong," said all the girls gathering around Lin Feng. Xiaoya looked extremely excited, she had a huge smile and kept giggling. "And you? You're strong too. Brother and sister are both very accomplished," said Lin Feng shrugging and smiling. The Qi Xie soldiers were surprised by his sudden gentle nature, they were glancing at each other, smiling. Unfortunately, General Lu will never see how strong you've become. The Qi Xie soldiers saw Lin Feng grab Lu Fei's hand and thought about their former general. General Lu was missing the best moments of his daughter's life and of his soldiers. "Let's go to the general's headquarters and share some drinks," said someone. The others nodded and walked towards the palace. The remaining crowd also dispersed. After that, Lin Feng played chess with his father, chatted with his mother, went to the Yu clan to see his grandfather, Yu Qingshan. Yu Qingshan was extremely happy to hear everything Lin Feng was doing. He was proud to have a grandson who could now kill Zun cultivators. Lin Feng gave his tear stain to his grandfather. Yu Qingshan suddenly seemed to have gained back a few years. He could sense vitality flowing through his body again. Since Yu Qingshan had only broken through to the Xian Qi layer, the vitality water was extremely effective for him. Lin Feng also spent some time with Xian Yi, Lu Fei, and the other girls. He spent some days relaxing. And then, finally, Lin Feng left the imperial palace. Many people accompanied him to the gate. Lin Feng caressed Xian Ye's cheeks, tickled Xiao Ye's nose, smiled and said, "I'm only going to the Yunhai mountain range. With my current speed, it only takes me half an hour to get there. I can come back anytime, so you don't need to accompany me to the gate." Even though Lin Feng said that, everybody was sad to see him leave once again. Was he going to leave for a few years again, like the last time? "I'm off," said Lin Feng. He was happy to have such a great family and such welcoming friends. His gigantic sword appeared, he jumped on it and streaked across the sky. Lin Feng was riding his sword above the clouds. He sighed, even though he wasn't far from Yangzhou City, he might not go back as he wished. Strong cultivators from the Ba Huang province had gathered in the mountain range, so something incredible was probably going to happen. In the past, Lin Feng needed 10 days while riding a horse to go from Yangzhou City to the Yunhai mountain range, but now he only needed half an hour. When he saw the Yunhai mountain range again, he sighed sadly. It didn't look like the Yunhai mountain range anymore, there was only one mountain left. Back when, there were people everywhere inside the Yunhai mountain range and up to the Black Wind mountain. Now, there were only people from the Ba Huang province. What's going on in the Yunhai mountain range, thought Lin Feng. On the ground, many people rose up in the air and blocked him. "You can't go that way. It's a sealed area." "Sealed?" asked Lin Feng. "Which group are you from?" "Mind your own business, you have nothing to do here, especially given that you're a trivial cultivator of the Tianqi layer." "Just piss off," said one of them coldly. Lin Feng looked at them coldly and released some terrifying sword chi, die. Dazzling sword lights appeared as well as thunders and the atmosphere started shaking. "You're Lin Feng," said that person after recognizing his Tianji sword. He punched the air but the Tianji sword continued moving towards him. "Be merciful," said the others moving towards the Tianji sword as well. The space violently shook as they finally managed to block the Tianji sword. CRRR, CRRR, the Tianji sword finally stopped, but continued emitting whistling sounds. "Since you're Lin Feng, the area is, of course, not sealed for you. Please come in," said that person. His facial expression had drastically changed as he moved aside. "Come back," said Lin Feng recalling his Tianji sword. His gigantic sword continued emitting whistling sounds as he moved forwards again. Chapter 1262, The Great Emperor's Historical Remains. Lin Feng landed on a small hill and sat down cross-legged to observe the crowd. The Wen clan. 1,000 meters to his left, someone smiled and nodded at Lin Feng. It was Wen Tiangu. Only the strongest people from Ba Huang province could go there. Lin Feng sensed that someone was looking at him in a cold way. 10,000 meters away, there were people from the Qi clan. Lin Feng noticed a particular young man glaring at him. "Where's my sister?" asked the young man. The lights emerged from his eyes which made the ground shake. He was one of the 3 heroic young cultivators of the Qi clan, Qi Tiansu, Qi Jiao and Qi Tiansheng's big brother. When he was younger, he was also one of the 10 strongest young cultivators of the province. Amongst those 3 heroes, Qi Tiansheng and Qi Tiansu were incredible. Qi Jiao was slightly weaker, but since she was also one of the 4 most beautiful girls from the Bahuang province, she was also considered one of the 3 heroes. Unfortunately, amongst the 3 heroes of the Qi clan, Qi Tiansheng had died and his sister was held captive by Lin Feng. As a big brother, he hated Lin Feng. If Lin Feng didn't have Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword, he would fearlessly attack Lin Feng right now and kill him. "She's alive," said Lin Feng indifferently. Lin Feng had heard of the 3 heroes from the Qi clan, so he knew that Qi Tiansu existed. "I will definitely kill you someday," said Qi Tiansu before turning around. Lin Feng ignored him and sat down again and closed his eyes. There were people from so many powerful groups, all except Tiantai. Tiantai didn't have the same recognition as the other powerful groups yet. Lin Feng also realized that apart from those he had killed already, Qi Tiansheng and Bai Qiu Luo, the other 8 strongest young cultivators from Bahuang were all there as well. After Fortune City, they had all broken through to the Zun Qi layer already. Of course, they still needed to travel around to become stronger. Apart from them, Lin Feng saw many other people he knew, for example, Feng Xian, Shui Bagio, the Thunderbird and others he knew from Fortune City. The Thunderbird looked at Lin Feng, but he looked scared. Lin Feng had changed in Fortune City, so much so that the Thunderbird couldn't offend him anymore. Lin Feng had already defeated Long Teng and Qi Tiansheng. As far as the brutal part of Bahuang was concerned, only Mo Peng, the great oriental greenfinch rock from the bestial imperial palace, could challenge Lin Feng. But Lin Feng didn't pay attention to him. He opened his eyes, stood up and saw someone flying over to him. Lin Feng smiled and said, "You're here too." "Hee, so many of my friends are here, of course I had to come too," said Yuan Fei smiling. "But, Jun Mo, she didn't come. I heard something horrible was happening in the Palace of the Immortals. The old emperor is about to die. He's going to die." Lin Feng was astonished. Such incredibly bad news. If an emperor died and there was nobody to replace him, the situation could become dangerous for them. There were no new emperors to replace him in the Palace of the Immortals, but at least the emperor had chosen Jun Mo Shi to replace him. Yes, luckily, all the powerful groups from the Bahuang province are here in this small country. If nobody had noticed that the Wen clan was paying particular attention to this place, everybody would have waited for the Palace of the Immortals emperor to die, said Yuan Fei. "What is going on here?" asked Lin Feng. After leaving the Bahuang province, he didn't know what had since. Some people say that there are some historical remains belonging to the 3 Lives Great Emperor. Back in the antiquity, a great war happened between great emperors, so there could be some great treasures here, explained Yuan Fei to Lin Feng. Some people had revealed it in the Bahuang province on purpose because they wanted to use the Tiansu teleportation portal. The 3 Lives Great Emperor. Lin Feng was very surprised. He looked at the remaining hills and dunes. Was the strength of the Haruka from the 3 Lives Buddha demon's skills a vestige left by the 3 Lives Great Emperor? Was it the 3 Lives Great Emperor who had sealed the Flame Emperor, Yen Di, in that small world? A great war between great emperors, whispered Lin Feng. Yangzhou City was a small town, but had a great war occurred there? If there are historical remains, why don't we look for treasures then? Asked Lin Feng. Everybody's waiting, said Yuan Fei before adding, you can try to dig there, but it's extremely hard. Lin Feng frowned and released sharp sword energies. Slash, slash, a hole appeared, but after a dozen meters into the ground, the sword chi stopped as if it had hit something solid. Lin Feng frowned. He hadn't thought that there could be something so hard in the Yunhai mountain range. You're not the only one. Even strong cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer couldn't manage to pierce through it. However, many people are unwilling to do anything, instead preferring to wait for others to do all the work. Lin Feng laughed. Lin Feng couldn't use his secret items in front of so many people, who dared. Some old cultivators are really patient, said Lin Feng smiling. They've been practicing cultivation for over 100 years, of course they're patient. The place won't disappear anytime soon, said Yuan Fei laughing. The old cultivators all had their eyes closed. For them, a few months were akin to a few hours. Lin Feng, said someone else. Lin Feng turned around and saw someone in white clothes, a boy who looked as beautiful as a girl. Lin Feng smiled in a resplendent way. What an incredible feeling to see an old friend. It was a friend he had back when he was studying at the academy, his former disciple, Wen Ao Shui. Long time no see, said Lin Feng. Wen Ao Shui was surprised before saying, I wouldn't have thought that I'd ever see you again. Since you left Shuiyu, you've become famous in Ba Huang. I would have never thought that an old friend of mine was from an imperial clan in Ba Huang, said Lin Feng. Orders from the clan, I can't do anything but obey. I've been in Shuiyu for a few years already, said Wen Ao Shui smiling. They chatted for a few minutes and then Wen Ao Shui went back to his family. Are you not happy? Asked Yuan Fei. Lin Feng shook his head with mixed feelings. Now that he had seen Wen Ao Shui again and knew that he was from the Wen clan, he suddenly understood a lot. Even though he used to be very good friends with Wen Ao Shui in the past, it felt strange to know that he was from the Wen clan. Everybody had hidden motives. Where was he when Yan Yu Pingsheng had died? Of course, Lin Feng didn't blame Wen Ao Shui, it was just that the situation had changed. People from powerful groups were difficult to make friends with, but Yuan Fei was an exception. Chapter 1263, Demoniac Marks, Yuan Fei, who did you come with? Asked Lin Feng. There were so many powerful groups in Shuiyu and all of them had brought cultivators of the top of the Zun Qi layer. Even the strongest young cultivators from the Ba Huang province hadn't come alone, it was too dangerous. My dad, said Yuan Fei pointing at a big and muscular man. He looked as strong as Yuan Fei. My dad and a few old apes, the middle-aged man looked at them, smiled and nodded at Lin Feng. Lin Feng waved at him. Yuan Fei's father was probably a cultivator at the top of the Zun Qi layer and the people he brought were also probably incredibly strong. Lin Feng, if we really find historical remains, you'll have to be careful. All those people want some treasures. Initially, my family didn't want to come, but I wanted to come and have some fun so they followed me, warned Yuan Fei. Lin Feng was alone so even if someone killed him, who would protect him? I'll hide far away, said Lin Feng jokingly, but he took Yuan Fei's words seriously. Having Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword didn't mean he could do anything he wanted. Hee, look how everybody is practicing cultivation. We should do the same, said Yuan Fei sitting down on a small hill and closing his eyes. Lin Feng closed his eyes too and practiced demonic cultivation and studied his 81 swords, holy marks pattern. Lin Feng could only use 3 types of abstruse energies to create sword skills and techniques so far. He wanted to add a 4th one, but it was too difficult. However, pure abstruse energies alone didn't have such an explosive power when compared to fusing them together. Some time passed and still, nothing happened. At that moment, an older Zun cultivator of the Qi clan suddenly opened his eyes and walked towards the group of the Wen clan and said, the Wen clan have been preparing for so many years, and you even sent people here first using the Tian Su teleportation portal. An older Zun cultivator of the Wen clan also opened his eyes and looked in the direction of the Qi clan site. Back then, in Tian Su town when the images appeared in the sky above the Tian Su teleportation portal, the Qi clan was present. They had seen the historical remains and now they wanted to make things move along faster. You must have the ancient broken space mirror as well, right? Said the older Zun cultivator of the Wen clan smiling coldly. The older Zun cultivator of the Qi clan coldly stared at him, that bastard. Indeed, he had the ancient broken space mirror. The ancient broken space mirror is a peerless holy weapon. If the Emperor doesn't use it himself, with your strength, you still should be able to release half of its power and break that hard earth easily, said the older Zun cultivator from the Wen clan. The older Zun cultivator from the Wen clan is right. Since the Qi clan has brought the ancient broken space mirror, why hide it and make everybody wait, said an older Zun cultivator of the Si Kong clan. If the Qi clan isn't willing to use the ancient broken space mirror, I don't mind pushing them a bit, said a Zun-level beast from the bestial imperial palace. Please do use the ancient broken space mirror, said the Zun cultivator of the Wen clan smiling devilishly. Since it's that way, why not, said the Zun cultivator from the Qi clan. Everybody was staring at him now, he had no choice but do something. Everybody stood up, they were going to start. The older Zun cultivator from the Qi clan rose up in the air above the area which was impossible to pierce through, and an ancient mirror appeared in his hand. The space around the mirror instantly became distorted. Bzzz, the sky shook violently as the mirror became gigantic. Its reflective side was facing the ground and energies emerged from it. Go, shouted the older Zun cultivator of the Qi clan. An incredible amount of abstruse energy surrounded the mirror and it became golden and dazzling. Slash, slash, there were no explosions, only crackling sounds as a hole appeared in the ground. Nobody knew how deep it was, maybe 100 meters while the diameter of the hole was a few dozen meters. Bzzz, people rose up in the air and many people looked inside. What was inside? Lin Feng rose up in the air too and looked at the hole. He didn't use his godly awareness to inspect it because the Qi clan's ancient broken space mirror could destroy anything. Putting his godly awareness inside would have been suicidal. It's just pitch black, thought Lin Feng, staring at the hole. Yuan Fei's facial expression looked strange and his eyes looked like fireballs. He was fixedly staring at the hole as some patterns appeared in his eyes. Those are demonic marks. Yuan Fei's fire-red eyes turned dark again. The mirror released terrifying lights once again and another gigantic hole appeared. The older Zun cultivator of the Qi clan frowned, that ground was really hard. He had seemingly managed to make a small dent. Move, shouted the cultivator furiously. The mirror rose up in the air and became even larger while releasing even more energies. Break, shouted the older Zun cultivator of the Qi clan. The hole which was 100 meters deep became even larger. What's that? Tungsten. Demonic marks, the crowd was trying to identify the rock. A block of what seemed to be tungsten was uncovered. It was pitch black but diffused golden lights. There were also some marks on it, black marks, which looked like demonic holy marks. CRRR, 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 the Zun cultivator of the Qi clan continued attacking the ground with his mirror. The hole was becoming wider at quite a fast pace. It was now 10,000 meters wide. What's that? An older Zun cultivator can't even break it with his ancient broken space mirror. Lin Feng looked at the mirror, he was almost scared. It was terrifying to see an older Zun cultivator use a peerless weapon. If even part of those lights touched him, he would die instantly. The older Zun cultivator from the Qi clan stopped and put the ancient broken space mirror away. You saw how terrifying that thing is. Now, should we all go inside together and break that thing? No, really, then many silhouettes jumped down. They didn't need the older Zun cultivator from the Qi clan to tell them, they obviously all wanted to go down and see. Be careful, said Yuan Fei to Lin Feng, and then they both dived into the hole too. Then, 100 meters later, they landed on the hard black substance. Lin Feng struck the demonic marks with sword qi, but it was pointless. He touched them with his hands, it felt like a cold armor. What kind of metal is that? My sword can't even scratch it. And the ancient broken space mirror can't break it either, said Lin Feng looking at Yuan Fei. He was wondering if Yuan Fei had already seen that. But Yuan Fei didn't know either. It's not a metal, it's a seal, shouted someone. Did such a terrifying sealing strength exist? Chapter 1264, When Emperors Show Up, a Seal. Lin Feng was surprised. If that was a seal, it meant something incredibly powerful was hiding behind it. Even an older Zun cultivator's peerless weapon couldn't break it, so just what was sealed inside? Does it have anything to do with the 3 lives Great Emperor? Thought Lin Feng. If a Great Emperor had cast that sealing spell, then a Zun cultivator couldn't break it. Even if an emperor had been sealed inside, he wouldn't have been able to come out. Qi Yun, can you continue breaking the surrounding earth? We need to see how big the seal is. It might help us understand what's inside, said someone to the older Zun cultivator from the Qi clan. Qi Yun looked unhappy but said, "All right, I'll help." Qi Yun then continued attacking the earth with his mirror. Many strong cultivators cleaned around, the dust, pebbles and pieces of stones. The area was becoming wider and wider. Only a great emperor could have the strength necessary to cast such a powerful sealing spell, whispered Lin Feng. The distance between cultivators would be wider the stronger you got. It was as if the sealing stone had taken the entire space of the Yunhai mountain range. Time passed slowly as only the strongest cultivators could break the walls around the hole. With the mirror, it took them half an hour to make out the entire sealing stone. Let's go up. Some silhouettes rose up in the air to see the stone in its entirety from the sky. Lin Feng also rose up in the air and looked at that gigantic, pitch-black sealing stone. It was hundreds of meters wide. The marks were all interconnected and nobody could understand them, even cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer. In the antiquity, there was a gigantic sealing stone which could seal demonic strength. According to legends, that gigantic demon seal stone ended up in the hands of a peerless cultivator, said a cultivator at the top of the Zun Qi layer from the Si Kong clan. The demon sealing great emperor, whispered many people. They all thought of a particular name when they heard the strong cultivator from the Si Kong clan talk. After sealing the demonic emperor, the demon sealing great emperor studied sealing strength and created 3,681 variants of the demon sealing technique. Then, he broke the stone. Has anyone found all the pieces so that the whole stone could be made again? As those strong cultivators were talking about the demon seal stones, Lin Feng's head started pounding. The demon sealing great emperor had managed to break the demon seal stone because he was convinced he didn't need it anymore. His body was as strong as the demon seal stone, so he could seal demons using his own strength. Lin Feng lowered his head and looked at the gigantic seal. Had the demon sealing great emperor those people were talking about made that seal? If that great emperor had done it, what had he sealed inside? At that moment, the cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer glanced at each other. They hadn't anticipated something so incredible. The sealing great emperor might have sealed an emperor in there. In the distance, on the Black Wind Mountain, there was an ancient tree and on that tree, there was a Taoist monk, Yan Di. At that moment, Yan Di looked solemn and respectful, he didn't look conceited or playful. Those bastards, they found it too early, thought Yan Di. Everybody, let's try to break it together at the same time, said an older Zun cultivator from the Wen clan. Many people nodded and started releasing a terrifying strength. They were trying to activate the demonic marks, but it was useless. Very quickly, the older Zun cultivators gave up. We need an emperor to help, said Yuan Fei to Lin Feng. They hadn't thought that they would find such an incredible treasure in such a tiny country. Even normal emperors would need to be incredible to break such a thing. Lin Feng frowned, he was thinking. Inviting an emperor to Shuiyu? Was that a good thing or a bad thing? If there was an incredible peerless cultivator inside, what would happen? If an emperor broke the seal and that nobody could control the thing or person sealed inside, Shuiyu might be destroyed. Boom! At that moment, someone broke a talisman and a terrifying Qi appeared. The crowd looked in the direction of the Qi clan. They're calling an emperor, the crowd was astonished. A part of the sky turned into a mirror and a silhouette appeared inside. An emperor, the emperor of the Qi clan, thought the crowd astonished. The emperor looked at the ground and he was surprised too. He just whispered, a seal. Indeed, Your Imperial Majesty, maybe that the demon-sealing emperor created it, said the Qi clan in a respectful way. The emperor seemed pensive. Boom boom boom, the atmosphere suddenly changed, clouds furiously rolled and a silhouette in white clothes suddenly appeared in the air and looked at the emperor of the Qi clan. Then, the silhouette descended from the sky and landed on the seal. Soul imprint. Yuan Fei was astonished. The Wen clan was terribly interested in that treasure, even the soul imprint of the emperor from the Wen clan was there. It looks like the same thing Mr. Xiao did to me last time, whispered Lin Feng. The emperor of the Wen clan looked pensive, then he raised his head and said, "Don't let anyone touch that sealed area before I arrive." His voice sounded very serious. The crowd was astonished, but they nodded back. All the powerful groups broke their talismans to inform their emperors. The Wen clan's hologram disappeared, but everybody knew that the emperors were coming. The emperors were coming to Shuiyu. Chapter 1265, Syllogistic Devamara Chains, Emperors, whispered Lin Feng. He didn't look excited. Having Zun cultivators in Shuiyu was already a problem, so emperors. Besides, only emperors seemed capable of breaking that seal, which meant that whatever was inside would be problematic. The Three Lives Demon Emperor has been here and Yen Di was sealed here. Now, another emperor as incredible as the Three Lives Demon Emperor, the Demon Sealing Emperor. 3 great emperors appeared here in the past. What is inside? Thought Lin Feng worried. Everybody, move away from the seal and let's seal the space, said the older Zun cultivator from the Wen clan indifferently. Everybody rose up in the air and moved away. Lin Feng and Yuan Fei moved back to the edge of the crater as Yuan Fei said, "Lin Feng, the Qi clan's emperor will do something soon, so you should leave. There are so many strong cultivators, even if those historical remains contain incredible treasures, we won't get anything." Lin Feng smiled, he understood what Yuan Fei meant. Emperors were incredible, and even if Lin Feng had Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword, he couldn't deal with emperors still. "Where could I escape to if an emperor wanted to kill me?" said Lin Feng, laughing and shaking his head. Shuiyu was a tiny country and Lin Feng was only a cultivator of the Tianqi layer. If an emperor meant him harm, he wouldn't have any say. Besides, the emperor of the Qi clan would never attack Lin Feng because of Qi Tiansheng, that would tarnish his reputation, and also, emperors didn't really care about weak cultivators. Yuan Fei didn't say anything more. Indeed, Lin Feng posed no threat to the Qi clan, so the emperor of the Qi clan wouldn't do anything to him. Bzzz, in the distance, a strong wind blew. The earth and sky were shaking as a silhouette arrived. How fast, thought Lin Feng, amazed. The Wen clan's emperor arrived quickly because the Tian Su teleportation portal is in their territory. Yuan Fei reminded Lin Feng. The members of the Wen clan looked delighted. They all bowed before their emperor. Even though they were all from the same clan, he was their highest figure. Lin Feng watched the emperor. The emperor walked to the center of the seal and a terrifying force assaulted it. Boom boom, the ground shook violently. Lin Feng groaned, he felt like his body was going to explode. The seal shook a little. The emperor from the Wen clan rose up in the air and glanced at the gigantic pitch-black seal stone. He was surprised. "The demon-sealing great emperor must have done that," whispered the emperor from the Wen clan. If they knew that Yen Di was also there and that his soul had almost been crushed to death, how would they feel? But the emperor of the Wen clan remained silent, he simply continued studying the seal. As the emperor said nothing, the crowd didn't dare talk either. The atmosphere was eerily silent. In the distance, the wind emitted whistling sounds again. Many of them had to close their eyes because the enormous amount of dust brought by that wind. When the wind calmed down, they opened their eyes to find that someone else had arrived. "Your Imperial Majesty," all the strong cultivators of the Xikong clan, from Central Ba Huang bowed before their emperor. Emperor Xikong's facial expression looked strange, it was as if he was trying to understand what the situation was about. He too stared at the demonic marks. Boom! After a short while, Emperor Kong groaned furiously and closed his eyes looking upset. Emperor Kong had a celestial vision, like Kong Shao. However, he had hurt his eyes when he used his celestial vision on the stone. What a terrifying seal stone. What did you see? Asked Emperor Wen to Emperor Kong. Emperor Kong opened his eyes again and said, 3,681 demon sealing techniques. I used my celestial vision on the seal, but my eyes almost sealed themselves. In the distance, 3 silhouettes arrived at the same time, the emperors from the magic world Heavenly Palace, the Qi clan and the godly Xiaoyao sect. Their respective groups bowed before them. However, as each of the 3 emperors arrived and tried to break the seal, they all failed as well. What do you think? Asked Emperor Wen to the emperors. We need to understand what kind of sealing strength that is to find its weakness. Otherwise, we won't be able to break it. Right, we need to understand what kind of sealing technique it is first. If you don't try, how can you know it won't break? Said someone loudly in the distance. Someone was arriving and they were exuding golden lights which reached far and wide. That person's speed was even scarier than his voice. Emperor Peng, whispered the few emperors. Golden lights appeared in the sky as it looked like a gigantic, supernatural bird blotted out the sky. Emperor Peng, you want to break the seal using strength? Asked Emperor Wen indifferently. Emperor Peng from the bestial imperial palace and Mo Peng, one of the 10 strongest young cultivators, were the only 2 supernatural birds from the Ba Huang province. If we don't try, how can we know that we can't break it? Asked Emperor Peng. He opened his golden wings and with the sun was reflecting on them, dazzling golden lights lit the area. Caw! Emperor Peng cawed furiously and peeked down turning into a dazzling beam of light. Boom boom. He crashed onto the seal stone and the gigantic stone shook in response. Some of the people watching groaned in pain and coughed up blood. How terrifying! Emperor Peng, even with your strength, you can't break that sealing technique, said Emperor Wen. Emperor Peng was now staring at the seal stone. What was that sorcery? It seemed like brute force was not the solution. Good heavens, said a loud voice. The crowd turned around, surprised. What was that Taoist monk doing there? He's here too, thought Lin Feng. Back then, he was sealed in the Yunhai mountain range, so maybe he knew what was going on. Dear emperors, I know what kind of sealing technique that is, said the Taoist monk sounding confident and at ease. The emperors looked at him skeptically. That Zun-level Taoist monk knew what sealing technique that was. Tell us then, said Emperor Qi to Yen Di. You can look at the detailed demonic marks. If you divide them into 8 parts, you'll see 8 gigantic doors. You don't need to look at the whole pattern, just looked at one door, said Yen Di. The emperors looked at the patterns again and very quickly, they were astonished. Indeed, they could see 8 doors. What kind of sealing technique is that though? Asked Emperor Wen to Yen Di. Syllogistic Devamara seal, it is capable of sealing any demon, said Yen Di calmly. Chapter 1266, Yen Di fooling emperors. Syllogistic Devamara seal, it can seal any demon. The emperors were trying to see through Yen Di. A trivial Zun cultivator knew what the syllogistic Devamara sealing technique was. They knew the sealing great emperor used it, but they had only heard of it though. How can we break it? Asked Emperor Peng to Yen Di. Forgive me for being straightforward, the demon sealing emperor used the syllogistic Devamara sealing technique here, so there might be a terrifying demon underneath. You should think about giving up. If a demon came out, I fear that even emperors wouldn't be able to deal with him. The consequences could be tragic, said Yen Di in a very serious way. However, Lin Feng was convinced. Yen Di was trying to admonish with well-meant words even if it was risky. Besides, if he didn't wanted them to break the seal, did he need to tell them? They had been trying to break it for a while already without success. So why had he come now and tell them that? What is that bastard doing? Thought Lin Feng. Was Yen Di going to offend emperors? Eh. The emperors were guessing that this guy knew something. If you know anything, then talk, said Emperor Peng. His silhouette flickered and he landed before Yen Di. His hand turned into sharp claws as he grabbed Yen Di by the throat. The 8 syllogistic Devamara chain sealing technique has been cast on these 8 doors. You can find the entrance amongst these doors, with the strength of 8 emperors, by spilling a drop of blood on each door and it will activate the demonic marks. Then, you can use your strength to break the seals, said Yen Di calmly. He didn't look scared at all. Lin Feng started thinking that Yen Di was telling the truth. If you said even only one lie, I can guarantee you that the consequences will be tragic, said Emperor Peng to Yen Di. His silhouette flickered and he landed on one of the 8 doors. If a Zun cultivator actually lied to an emperor, he would die. We need 2 more people, thought the emperors on their respective spots. We're here too, said 2 people in the distance. A strong wind began blowing again. One of them was wearing a fire robe. It was Emperor Yen from the Fire Mountain in western Ba Huang and the other one was Emperor Tian Long from Tian Long Divine Castle. Since you're here, let's start, said Emperor Peng indifferently. Emperor Tian Long and Emperor Yen landed on their respective doors. 8 emperors and 8 doors, thought the crowd. Was that Taoist monk speaking the truth? If you lied, you'll die, threatened Emperor Tian Long to Yen Di aggressively. At that moment, amongst the group of strong cultivators from Fire Mountain, Fu Hei frowned. He felt like something wrong. If it was someone else, he would have been convinced that they wouldn't cheat an emperor, but maybe that specific Taoist monk would. But in any case, he couldn't say anything to the emperors, he was too weak to give his opinion. Don't worry, your imperial majesties, you are all incredibly strong. Just spill a drop of blood on the 8 doors and with your strength, you'll be able to break the Devamara seals, said Yen Di calmly and serenely. All the emperors nodded and at the same time they released chi which dashed to the skies. Then, they gave up a drop of blood, imperial blood. Their blood fell on the seals and instantly, the demonic marks seemed to come to life. The pitch-black demonic marks began moving and a terrifying strength emerged. The Devamara chains appeared, the crowd could see chains appearing on the gigantic black sealing stones. It was as if an emperor had been holding those chains and had sealed a terrifying and peerless demon with them. The chains suddenly ramped and clung to the 8 emperors' legs, constricting them. The syllogistic Devamara chains which can seal terrifying godly demons. That's a demon sealing territory, so you can only blame yourselves for bringing about your own destruction, said Yen Di, sounding aggressive and imposing now. That Taoist monk had actually dared to fool those emperors. Roar! At that moment, the earth and sky started roaring and chi dashed to the skies. The 8 emperors were now stuck by the chains. You want to die, shouted Emperor Peng, his body was quickly surrounded by golden lights which illuminated the atmosphere. Break! 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 Shouted Emperor Peng. It almost seemed like he was about to break the chains, but they turned into pitch-black demonic marks and they constricted him even more. Die! Shouted the great oriental greenfinch rock at Yen Di. He released dazzling sword energies which moved towards Yen Di. However, Yen Di remained calm under that pressure. He broke something in his hand and an explosion sounded, then he disappeared. Emperors, offer yourselves as a sacrifice, said a loud voice coming from the sky. It was Yen Di's voice, but he had already disappeared from everyone's vision. You'll die, shouted Emperor Peng furiously. Cough, cough. Lin Feng coughed up blood, his face had turned deathly pale. Yuan Fei was confused too, his face was also deathly pale. The ground was shaking and the golden lights were shaking the space aggressively. Let's go, shouted Lin Feng. Everybody was running away with them. That bastard Yen Di, just what is he planning, thought Lin Feng. He hadn't truly believed that he would cheat emperors. Boom, 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 Emperor Tian Long also tried to attack the chains, but it was useless. Emperor Qi and Emperor Wen also tried, but as before, they failed. The emperor's faces turned deathly pale, like sheets of paper. "Who dares attack me?" shouted Emperor Peng furiously. "No, bastard! I will destroy you." Emperor Tianlong had turned into a dragon, but his vitality was draining as well. "Emperors, offer yourselves as a sacrifice." The crowd remembered what Yan Di had said when he left, then their faces turned pale. What kind of terrifying thing was that stone? "Let's attack the ceiling strength together," said Emperor Wen. The emperors all sensed that their vitality was being absorbed. "All right. Together," said everybody. A golden, great oriental greenfinch rock appeared, a dragon, a gigantic hand, a gigantic fire hand. The 8 emperors were joining hands. "Let's go." The crowd in the distance realized how urgent it was for them to get farther away. Lin Feng and Yuan Fei jumped onto Lin Feng's gigantic sword. They were still coughing blood and their faces were deathly pale. However, the syllogistic Devamara chains still weren't moving. After their joint efforts, a crack had appeared. Boom boom boom. In the distance, 2 silhouettes appeared. "What's the matter, everyone?" said someone indifferently. One of them was the emperor from the Thunderbirds clan. "I'm here too." Yuan Fei gazed into the distance and saw the great ape emperor. Chapter 1267, The 9 Songs. "Emperor Thunder, Emperor Ape, help us break the seals," said Emperor Peng aggressively. Emperor Peng was from the bestial imperial palace in the brutal part of Ba Huang. He was incredibly aggressive, even those 2 emperors didn't want to confront him. "Emperor Peng, what should I do?" asked the Thunderbird Emperor, Emperor Lei. He was afraid to offend Emperor Peng. Even though they were sealed, after breaking the seals, those emperors would deal with anyone who had offended them. "The 8 of us have attacked the chains at the same time, but it didn't work. Attack with us, we will all attack the center of the seal stone." "The demon sealing emperor sealed that place," said Emperor Peng. He knew what Emperor Lei was thinking. He also hoped that Emperor Lei would be stuck on the sealing stone as well. "All right, let me try," said Emperor Lei. He landed on the central part of the gigantic sealed territory and attacked it with thunderous energies. "Together," shouted Emperor Peng furiously. "Humph. Why would he help though?" said Yuan Fei. The great ape emperor wasn't willing to help, but if the emperors managed to break free, they'd have to settle accounts afterwards if he didn't help them now. Lin Feng nodded. Those emperors weren't at all friends. People like Emperor Shi and Emperor Yu were rare. After all, they came from the same place. "Lin Feng," said someone in the distance. He turned around and saw Yan Di. However, Yan Di had turned into Cheong Qi again. "You actually came back," said Lin Feng using telepathy. "How insane. If the emperors discovered it was him, they'd kill him." "Apart from you, who knows me?" said Cheong Qi disdainfully. Then he smiled and said, "I'm your friend, Cheong Qi the Ancient, wild beast, aren't I?" "If you say so," said Lin Feng. If anyone found out who Cheong Qi was, they'd kill Lin Feng too. At that moment, Cheong Qi arrived next to Lin Feng. Yuan Fei looked surprised as he said, "Lin Feng, is that your pet?" "PFFF. You should say he's my pet." "I'm an emperor," said Cheong Qi aggressively. Yuan Fei scratched his head. Cheong Qi had a bad temper. "Bastard, what happened down there? What's that? Who sealed you?" "Did both the 3 Lives Great Emperor and the Demon Sealing Emperor really appear here back then?" asked Lin Feng using telepathy. "Don't ask so much, I can only tell you that here, the 3 Lives Great Emperor and the Demon Sealing Emperors are not the only ones who have come. A battle between great emperors took place here, one which not only took place in a small world. Lin Feng, you already have some extremely strong demonic skills, excellent, I'll give you another incredible gift. I hope you'll always remember me," said Cheong Qi. His eyes were twinkling. What was he doing? A gift? He definitely knew what was under the seal. Boom boom boom. At that moment, the crowd shook again. The emperors were still trying to break free from the chains and several more emperors had arrived. Apart from Emperor Lei and the Great Ape Emperor, Emperor Nyo Mo from Mang Nyo Mountain and the Buddha Emperor, with his golden body, from the Celestial Thunder Temple had also arrived. Not far from them was a beautiful girl, it was Empress Raja from the Heavens of Desire's palace. There was also a perverted-looking emperor. The gigantic sealed stone was already cracking. The chained emperors' faces were deathly pale by this point. "Everybody, help us. There are some treasures here," said Emperor Qi to the newcomers. However, everybody remained silent and ignored him. Initially, the Great Ape Emperor and Emperor Lei were alone, so they had to help, but now there were so many more emperors. If there were tensions between all those emperors, a great war would consume Ba Huang. Kacha! At that moment, a terrifying strength appeared below them. The thing sealed underneath also wants to break free, thought the crowd. Like the 8 emperors, the thing sealed under the stone also wanted to escape. Boom, the demonic marks were cracking even more. The seal is breaking, thought Lin Feng. However, terrifying energies suddenly emerged from the demonic marks and black clouds condensed in the sky. A demon, thought Lin Feng. Yen Di had told him he would offer him an incredible gift which was related to his demon skills. Did the thing sealed under that stone have anything to do with it? What a terrifying demonic energy, thought Yuan Fei shaking. Hoo, some sounds came from under the ground. Someone was wailing in a cruel way. That demonic song emitted sound waves filled with demonic energies. The 8 chained emperors were now turning into demons. Empress Raja, what's that song? Asked the emperors to the incredibly beautiful empress from the Heavens of Desire's palace. I don't know, it's a demonic song, so it's not like my attacks, said the empress. The demon song was influencing everyone, turning them into demons. That demon energy is terrifying, thought Lin Feng. Lin Feng wanted to leave, but he could barely move. He needed to study those demonic energies. Even though Lin Feng had studied powerful demonic skills, he still didn't understand demon abstruse energies, nor did he know where to study them. 9 dark clouds, the demonic source. 9 netherworlds, demonic song, one of the 9 most powerful songs of the continent, thought Empress Raja. In the entire country, including Yangzhou City, everyone raised their heads and saw those black clouds. There's someone, at that moment, 2 people appeared in the sky above those clouds. One was pitch black, his pitch black hair was fluttering in the wind. Even though he was calmly standing there, his demonic energies were terrifying. He seemed to be the king of demons, the master of demons, the demon emperor. In his arms was a woman and she was motionless. The demon emperor looked sad. 9 demonic song. Chapter 1268, Goddess, Empress Shi's grave. Everybody raised their heads to see what was going on. A great demon emperor is sealed here. The demon sealing great emperor had been to a tiny country like Shuiyu, and inside that stone, another great emperor was sealed. As expected, the demon sealing technique had been used to seal a demon emperor. The demon emperor in the sky looked calm, he was observing the crowd in a disdainful way. Who could compete with him in the world? The 9 netherworlds demonic song could make people turn into demons. Apart from that terrifying demonic energy, people also sensed some sadness, the sadness of a fallen emperor. The demon emperor also has emotions, thought Lin Feng. It reminded him of back in Shuiyu when he had used the demonic sword because Meng Qing had turned into an animal. He still hasn't lost his emotions completely. Lin Feng released his own demonic qi, but he didn't do it on purpose. In Shuiyu, many people could hear the 9 netherworlds demoniac song and a black qi was slowly emerging from their bodies. If I met such a man, even if I grew old and weren't as beautiful as now, that wouldn't be a problem, thought Ren Lei, who was watching from a distance. Kacha. The 8 emperors were still struggling. Especially the great oriental greenfinch rock, his dazzling golden energies were turning black and his eyes were also becoming black. A stupid demon emperor's obsessiveness, you won't turn into a demon. Just break, shouted the great oriental greenfinch rock looking at the sky. The demon emperor in the sky only moved a little. He looked at Emperor Peng in a disdainful way. The demon's song started ringing even louder in Emperor Peng's brain, tearing him down again. A stupid demon emperor, the crowd didn't agree, that demon emperor was terrifying. Who's that? Lin Feng understood that incredibly strong demonic cultivators could force their enemies into submission just by looking at them. The Netherworld Demon Emperor. It's just a thread of energy here which hasn't dispersed for thousands of years, said Qiong Qi using telepathy. That was a demon emperor, a great emperor, could do all of this with just a little thread of energy which hadn't died in thousands of years. The Netherworld Demon Emperor has emotions, why did the demon sealing great emperor seal him? And you? Who sealed you? What's going on? Asked Lin Feng to Qiong Qi. Since you want to know more, I can tell you a bit. In the continent of the 9 clouds, there are 9 godly demonic forbidden songs. The Netherworld Demon Emperor can control one of the songs, the 9 Netherworld's demonic song. Because of the woman he's holding in his arms died, he wanted to kill the 3 lives great emperor and then a great war took place here. If you look at the sealed area carefully, you'll realize it's a grave, said Yan Di to Lin Feng using telepathy. You can see the gravestone there, said Yan Di looking at the main peak of the Yunhai mountain range. After everything was destroyed in the mountain range, a gigantic gravestone had appeared. Do you want to go and see what's written on it? It has something to do with you. With me? Lin Feng was astonished. What did the Netherworld Demon Emperor's gravestone have to do with him? Let's go. Lin Feng jumped on Qiong Qi, still surrounded by demonic qi. Then, Qiong Qi flew towards the gravestone. Lin Feng, shouted Yuan Fei when he saw that Lin Feng was suddenly leaving. It was too dangerous. Even cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer didn't want to get close. I'm going to see something there, shouted Lin Feng to Yuan Fei. You little bastard, let me come with you, then Yuan Fei followed him. You disgrace. Come back, shouted the great ape emperor to Yuan Fei. His silhouette flickered and he appeared in front of Yuan Fei. I'm just going to see something with Lin Feng, said Yuan Fei smiling. The old man shrugged and smiled. The great ape emperor had huge eyes as he looked at Yuan Fei and then decided to follow. Finally, Lin Feng and Qiong Qi landed in front of the gravestone. Lin Feng read it, Goddess, Empress Xi's grave. Those words contained an incredible qi, but the qi didn't contain any sadness. Here is Empress Xi's grave, surprisingly, but what does that have to do with me, thought Lin Feng. He asked Qiong Qi using telepathy, why does it have something to do with me and why is it written Goddess? Of course it has something to do with you. Would you dare come with me to the sky and look at the girl the Netherworld Demon Emperor is holding, said Qiong Qi using telepathy. Tell me first, what role did you play during the Great Emperor's War, asked Lin Feng. He knew too much. I robbed graves, said Yan Di. Lin Feng was astonished, Yan Di was a robber. You, a great emperor, was robbing tombs? Lin Feng was speechless. I wasn't the only one. The Netherworld Demon Emperor had also robbed tombs, that's why he died. But she was already dead then, so emotions were useless. He made a mistake as a demon emperor, he practiced demonic cultivation and he fell because of a beautiful woman, said Yan Di disdainfully. For him, having emotions was a tragedy, he can only blame himself. He fell in love with a beautiful woman, but it was a one-sided love, said Yan Di. Trust me and come with me, let's go and see the demon emperor, said Qiong Qi to Lin Feng using telepathy. You're not trying to cheat me, are you? Said Lin Feng. He had fooled the 8 emperors, so Lin Feng was a bit scared. Bastard, you don't trust me. Don't forget what the diviner said. I'll tell you the truth, I don't have much of my soul now, even if I continue becoming stronger, I'll never be a great emperor again. I must rely on you. Therefore, I will do my best to make you become a great emperor. Now, I will show you how lucky you are. It's a great opportunity, don't miss it or you'll regret it forever," said Yan Di to Lin Feng using telepathy. Lin Feng thought about it briefly and nodded, "All right, let's go up there and see the Netherworld Demon Emperor." Then, they both rose up in the air. Chapter 1269, The Inheritor. Many people raised their heads and saw two silhouettes rising in the air towards the demonic emperor. Lin Feng was on Cheong Chi's back and his heart was pounding. He had never been that high up in the sky before, and in front of him, there was a great demon emperor. Boom! A terrifying chi was blowing and brushing against their bodies. It felt like, that at any moment, they could turn into demons. Finally, they arrived just underneath the Netherworld Demon Emperor and they could see him clearly. "Netherworld Demon Emperor, do you remember Yan Di from back in the days?" asked Cheong Chi to the Netherworld Demon Emperor using his godly awareness. Yan Di, that voice resonated in Lin Feng and Yan Di's brains. He lowered his head and looked at them. Lin Feng's soul shook. It was like the Netherworld Demon Emperor was going to take control over his soul. "Indeed, Yan Di," said Cheong Chi. He used his godly awareness to converse with him. "Back then, you risked your life for Empress Shi and died, otherwise, who could have stopped you? Now, Empress Shi is coming back to life, but you have nothing besides a remainder of your soul left." Empress Shi coming back to life, the Netherworld Demon Emperor looked at them evilly. Those huge black clouds rolled in the sky of Shuiyu. "Indeed, inspect his soul and you'll know everything," said Yan Di to the Netherworld Demon Emperor. He lowered his head and looked at Lin Feng with his pitch-black eyes. Boom, the Demon Emperor inspected Lin Feng's thoughts. Lin Feng's soul shook violently, but he couldn't do anything against that strength. "Why?" whispered the Netherworld Demon Emperor. He could see everything Lin Feng knew, his entire life even. "Right, Empress Shi is coming back to life, but your soul will disperse soon. I found an inheritor for you and I think the 9 Netherworld's demonic song shouldn't disappear." "It's great, right?" said Yan Di using telepathy. "Are you not afraid that I could kill you?" asked the Netherworld Demon Emperor coldly. "You won't. Put your thoughts in him and fuse together with his body. Let your soul flow throughout his body. Then, you'll be able to stay with Empress Shi for your entire life," said Cheong Chi. The Netherworld Demon Emperor's facial expression changed. Using Lin Feng's body to stay with Empress Shi for the rest of his life? He lowered his head, he looked so sad. Boom! At that moment, Lin Feng sensed a gigantic hand grab his body. Then the Demon Emperor put him in the 9 Netherworld's water source. 9 songs, 9 Netherworld songs, said the Netherworld Demon Emperor. Lin Feng sensed the evil water flow throughout his body, but it didn't destroy his body. Instead, it turned into a beautiful melody resonating in his head. Lin Feng was astonished. He now realized that Yan Di had succeeded. However, Lin Feng was also a bit angry. Yan Di had taken so many risks. Lin Feng closed his eyes and sat down cross-legged in the evil water. The source of the 9 Netherworlds continued flowing throughout his body. The crowd was astonished. What was going on? Why was Lin Feng sitting cross-legged in the 9 Netherworlds water? Only Cheong Chi, Lin Feng, and the Demon Emperor knew what they had talked about. At that moment, many people in Shuiyu raised their heads as well and saw Lin Feng, their king, sitting cross-legged in the sky, in the 9 Netherworld source. Cheong Chi was sweating. He had gambled and it had worked. You're right, the 9 Netherworlds song can't be forgotten. However, even if Empress Shi comes back to life, she won't be the same as before, so staying with her all the time would be pointless, said the 9 Netherworlds demon while looking at the beautiful girl in his arms. What's the point in protecting her grave? She's already dead, said the Netherworld Demon Emperor looking at the gigantic grave. Then, the Netherworld Demon Emperor looked at Lin Feng and said, "When you master the 9 Netherworlds demoniac song, if you feel like it, help me and kill the 3 lives demon." Then a soul penetrated into Lin Feng's third eye and the Netherworld Demon Emperor disappeared. "Even though you fell, I'll stay with you because I still love you," said a loud voice. Finally, the demonic energies dispersed and the evil water disappeared. Lin Feng's third eye now contained a terrifying demonic awareness as his eyes were pitch black. When the Netherworld Demon Emperor left, he had decided to leave a thread of awareness with Lin Feng. "When you master the 9 Netherworlds demonic song, if you feel like it, help me by killing the 3 lives Demon Emperor," whispered Lin Feng. 3 lives Great Emperor, the Netherworld Demon Emperor, the Demon Sealing Great Emperor, Empress Shi, what were their relations? And that gravestone, who made it? The Demon Sealing Great Emperor had sealed the Netherworld Demon Emperor, but why did he want him to kill the 3 lives Great Emperor? And it also seemed then Yen Di had convinced the Netherworld Demon Emperor to stay with Empress Shi because of her dead body. Was it on purpose to make the Demon Sealing Great Emperor seal again? "With the last thread of soul you have, what should you do?" said Lin Feng to the silhouette which had disappeared already. Boom, 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 loud sounds made Lin Feng come back to his senses. He looked at the ground and saw the strong cultivators struggling. There were even more and more crack marks, they would probably break free soon. Break! Emperor Peng looked like a demon at that moment. His chi was dashing to the skies, he was surrounded by golden and demonic chi. The 7 other emperors were struggling too, but they were about to succeed. The Netherworld Demon Emperor had been able to break free from the sealing energies which proved that they weren't as strong as before. Boom! Finally, the demonic marks were broken and the seals were broken with them. "Who can stop me?" shouted the great oriental greenfinch rock. At that moment, he looked like a corrupted bird. The other emperors broke free from the seals too, but they didn't look as terrifying. Their faces were also deathly pale. Damn seals! Finally free. Ha ha ha, finally, they broke. Empress Shi is dead, the Demon Emperor is gone, who can stop me now? Cheong Qi and Lin Feng flew away as fast as they could. Everybody was suddenly captivated by the grave. Xueyu was filled with dazzling lights and a gigantic palace was emerging from the sealed area. Robbing tombs. No wonder Cheong Qi wanted to rob tombs, those are Empress Shi and the Netherworld Demon Emperor's small worlds, thought Lin Feng. Chapter 1270, Peerless Cultivator. When you robbed tombs, the Netherworld Demon Emperor was still there, so you must have robbed Empress Shi's tomb while not hiding your Great Emperor status, asked Lin Feng to Cheong Qi using telepathy. What did he want to do? And why Goddess? The Empress has incredible treasures, said Cheong Qi, his eyes were twinkling. Then he asked Lin Feng, and don't you want to know why I said that all this had something to do with you? Do I need to ask? Said Lin Feng smiling wryly. He obviously understood from what Cheong Qi had said to the Netherworld Demon Emperor. You're not as dumb as you seem then. So now you understand what I meant last time, said Cheong Qi smiling. Lin Feng rolled his eyes. He meant he wanted Lin Feng to have a child. Look, it's getting chaotic over there, said Lin Feng. Rumbling sounds appeared as palaces rose. The area turned into a fairyland. The emperors think they're free because they broke the seal. They must still want to die, said Cheong Qi disdainfully. The emperors from Ba Huang province had the advantage in terms of number, but did they think they'd have the advantage over the sealed emperor? Xueyu is going to be rich, said Cheong Qi. 2 small worlds had appeared in Xueyu, so Xueyu would certainly rise in the future. Empress Shi's small world was beautiful. It had a celestial chi, waterfalls appeared and it was gigantic. From now on, Empress Shi's palace had replaced the Yunhai mountain range and the Black Wind Mountain. At the same time, the Netherworld Demon Emperor's small world rose up too, but it was even larger than Empress Shi's. It had a circular form and had surrounded Empress Shi's territory as if it were protecting it. Are those great emperor's small worlds? How spectacular, thought Lin Feng. He was inspecting all those buildings. The Netherworld Demon Emperor's palaces were gigantic and lofty. Is that small world going to expand to Yangzhou City? Thought Lin Feng. If that small world was a few dozens of thousands kilometers wide, it would reach Yangzhou City. Lin Feng, come down, shouted Yuan Fei. The emperors had already started fighting in the sky in order to not destroy the small worlds. How fast, thought the crowd when they saw all those people moving towards the small worlds. Pure qi rolled in waves and it was an incredible energy. Lin Feng entered the small world and instantly felt great. Everybody get out, shouted someone. It was Emperor Peng. Emperor Peng's qi contained some black threads and even his eyes had turned black. Did you see? That's the strength of the 9 Netherworlds demonic song, one glance and people will become demons. Emperor Peng has already started turning into a demon, said Qiong Qi to Lin Feng using telepathy. Some of the emperors are falling, thought the crowd. Piss off or I'll kill everyone, shouted Emperor Peng furiously. Bzzz, at that moment, clouds rolled in the sky. Everybody raised their heads and saw the strong cultivators. A face appeared, it looked aggressive, domineering and majestic. People had the feeling they were going to suffocate. Finally, someone said. All the emperors get the hell out of this country and never come back, shouted an aggressive voice. Who do you think you are? Shouted Emperor Peng furiously and aggressively. The face looked at him and oppressive energies descended from the sky and surrounded him. The crowd saw a gigantic hand and many people emitted horrible shrieks. They closed their eyes, they didn't dare look. Was it their judgment day? When they opened their eyes, their faces turned deathly pale. Emperor Peng was in the gigantic hand, qi was whistling, the space was shaking. No matter how insane he had got, he couldn't escape from that hand. How dare you talk that way, you're really confident for a little bird. Even the Dragon Emperor and the Phoenix don't dare talk to me that way, said that person in the sky aggressively. It was as if God had been talking. If you don't want me to cripple your cultivation or kill you, piss off, said that strong cultivator in the sky. Then, Emperor Peng immediately disappeared. If you dare come back, I'll destroy you, said the voice to Emperor Peng as he ran away. All the emperors, piss off and leave this place. The same to you, if you dare come back I'll kill you. No matter which emperor, they'd die if they came back to Shuiyu. Then, they all ran away with their tails between their legs. Chapter 1271, because of the 3 live scriptures, they're gone, the crowd was speechless. The emperors had disappeared in the blink of an eye and a cultivator in the sky had made them leave with only a sentence. Who is he? Said Lin Feng looking at the sky. Had a terrifying great emperor appeared again? He had just seen the demon emperor's remaining soul and now there seemed to be another great emperor. Who do you think? Said Qiong Qi to Lin Feng using telepathy. Lin Feng tried to understand. When the seals were broken, the Netherworld Demon Emperor left and then a great emperor had appeared. Maybe he had sensed that the seal had been broken. The demon sealing great emperor, whispered Lin Feng. Qiong Qi didn't reply. Lin Feng didn't ask more, but he was convinced that the great emperor was the demon sealing great emperor, maybe it was the one who had made Empress Xi's gravestone. Lin Feng didn't know if the demon sealing great emperor was also the one who had made the gravestone. And what role had the 3 lives great emperor played? After thousands of years, the remaining thread of soul from the Netherworld Demon Emperor still hadn't forgotten about him. When you master the 9 Netherworlds demonic song, if you feel like it, help me and kill the 3 lives Demon Emperor. However, the 3 lives great emperor was a terrifying cultivator. Even if Lin Feng had the 9 Netherworlds demonic song, which was a terrifying skill, how long would he need to master it at such a high level? Finally, the strong cultivator looked at the 2 worlds and sighed. Fate would determine the rest. This country is small and weak, even if you obtain treasures, you can't harm its people. Remember to act humane, said the silhouette in the sky. Everybody nodded, nobody would dare offend such a terrifying entity. Clouds rolled and swallowed that face in a vortex. When that silhouette disappeared, the atmosphere gradually became normal again. The great emperor was gone, the emperors were gone. Zun cultivators were all that remained. He's helping Shuiyu on purpose, whispered Lin Feng. He didn't understand. For them, it's just a slight effort, said Qiong Qi. Lin Feng nodded. Lin Feng wouldn't have been able to do much for his country, but a great emperor only had to say one sentence and had prevented a catastrophe from overwhelming Shuiyu. We have things to do. Qiong Qi. Even after thousands of years, he still wanted to rob tombs. Even between great emperors, there can be huge differences, thought Lin Feng. Lin Feng, let's go to Empress Xi's coffin chamber. There must some incredible imperial scriptures there, said Qiong Qi rising up in the air. Some imperial scriptures. How incredible. Was Empress Xi a high-level cultivation empress? Imperial scriptures are incredible and Empress Xi was a peerless cultivator. She had studied imperial scriptures, but in the end, she didn't mind dying to achieve enlightenment. Not many have dared to do that since the antiquity. They were using telepathy to talk, so nobody could know what they were talking about. Besides, Qiong Qi had cheated 8 emperors to make the Netherworld Demon Emperor appear, so the emperors would remember him from then on. Lin Feng was a bit worried about that. He didn't dare imagine what would happen if the emperors found out that Qiong Qi was the Taoist monk who had cheated them. Boom! An explosion sounded. Some people were fighting on the ground because they wanted to steal something. Let's go and see. Lin Feng and Qiong Qi as they descended from the sky. They found that those people were fighting for a jade annulus. There were carvings on the jade annulus, so it was likely that Empress Xi had carved them. Not interesting, said Qiong Qi. He used to be an emperor, so Empress Xi's teachings were not useful for him who used to be a great emperor. He wanted imperial scriptures. However, the territory was gigantic, finding the imperial scriptures wouldn't be easy. Let's separate, we'll have more chances to find something that way. Keep in mind that you might find the 3 live scriptures in Empress Xi's palace, said Qiong Qi looking excited. The 3 live scriptures were the 3 lives great emperor's scriptures. Lin Feng finally understood what Qiong Qi wanted. Why would the 3 live scriptures be in Empress Xi's grave? Asked Lin Feng to Qiong Qi who was now walking away. You already know too much, said Qiong Qi. Lin Feng grinded his teeth. Why didn't he tell him? The 3 live scriptures. Lin Feng's eyes twinkled. He obviously wanted such imperial scriptures too. If Lin Feng managed to learn the full scriptures and have 3 bodies in one, his strength would be multiplied by 3. Lin Feng unsheathed his Tianji sword. Some strong cultivators were in Empress Xi's grave, so he had to be careful. The coffin chamber. Lin Feng looked at the small world pensively. Qiong Qi wanted to find Empress Xi's coffin chamber to find the 3 live scriptures, but if he were Empress Xi, where would he have put his most valuable treasures? If I were the Empress, I would have put my most valuable treasures in my ring and kept them with me, whispered Lin Feng. Every strong cultivator did the same. The Netherworld Demon Emperor already took Empress Xi's physical body away. Empress Xi had died because she wanted to achieve enlightenment, but before dying, she had probably left her treasures in that small world. The Netherworld Demon Emperor is already dead, he doesn't need Empress Xi's treasures, so Empress Xi's ring is either on her finger or in the small world, thought Lin Feng smiling wryly. Finding treasures wasn't easy, but if he managed to find Empress Xi's coffin chamber, even if the 3 live scriptures weren't there, he'd probably find other great treasures. Xin Yi likes calm and tranquility, bamboo forest, flowing waters and mountains. Xin is cold and detached, she's the ice beauty, but she also likes peace and tranquility, whispered Lin Feng. Then, he began walking in the small world. Soon he came across a small mountain range, filled with vitality. Bzzz. Lin Feng ran ahead. He wasn't the only one heading in that direction, many people were already fighting for treasures. Very quickly, Lin Feng arrived in the mountain range, a particular spot which was calm and tranquil. There was even a flowing river. At that moment, someone released an ice-cold qi which surrounded Lin Feng. Lin Feng looked at that person's facial expression was hideous, like an animal. Piss off. Lin Feng released the Demon Emperor's energies. His opponent suddenly felt ice-cold as demonic energies corroded his body. Blood splashed. He stopped and started shaking violently. That strength wasn't Lin Feng's. It was a terrifying demonic strength. The Netherworld Demon Emperor. He was shaking like a leaf in the wind, his face was deathly pale. It seemed like the Netherworld Demon Emperor had transmitted a terrifying power to Lin Feng. Chapter 1272, The Qi Clan vs. Lin Feng. Lin Feng continued walking around. He was surrounded by mountains and forests. He soon came across a gigantic tree which had probably been living for thousands of years in that small world. It seemed imposing and powerful. Lin Feng condensed sword qi in his left hand and attacked the tree. A mere scratch appeared on the trunk of the tree. A holy weapon could be made from that tree, whispered Lin Feng. Even a simple tree could be an incredible treasure. Lin Feng had a cursing scepter which seemed to be made of some kind of wood, maybe Lin Feng could find the tree which had been used to create that scepter. There are incredible treasures in this small world, unfortunately, I can't use them all for myself, thought Lin Feng. Lin Feng looked at the mountain with the coffin chamber. That was the same kind of place that Xianyi liked, so Empress she had probably enjoyed the same kind of things. Lin Feng opened the door of the coffin chamber and entered it. It smelt good inside, surprisingly the fragrance of a woman hadn't dispersed over the thousands of years. My understanding abilities can increase by simply smelling that qi, thought Lin Feng. Lin Feng noticed some vines, from which, the pleasant qi seemed to be released by. It made people feel full of vitality, so practicing cultivation there would probably be beneficial. It has so many marks, thought Lin Feng. There were mysterious marks on the vines, they seemed to contain the qi of enlightenment. Lin Feng gasped with amazement, that was a precious treasure. His eyes twinkled as he grabbed the vines and stowed them away. Lin Feng continued walking and arrived in front of a bronze mirror. It was the mirror Empress she used to put on makeup in front of. It contained an extraordinary and ancient qi. I wonder how I can use such a mirror. He released pure qi on the mirror, but nothing happened. I'll take it and I'll figure it out later, thought Lin Feng while putting the mirror inside his ring. He was feeling uncomfortable because he was in a woman's room, but then he thought of the connection between Empress Shi and himself, then he felt better. That painting is not bad, thought Lin Feng when he saw a picture scroll hanging on the wall. There were some rivers and mountains drawn which practically looked real. Lin Feng remembered the picture scroll which Yan Di was sealed in back then. Unfortunately, I can't find her ring, thought Lin Feng glancing around the coffin chamber. At that moment, Lin Feng came across her bed. He shook his hand, creating a strong wind which pushed the dust and other items away. The bed appeared and Lin Feng was amazed again. There were detailed marks on the bed, another precious treasure. Lin Feng also took the bed. He was taking everything in the coffin chamber. That teapot is not bad either, thought Lin Feng looking at a teapot and taking it. Her clothes are very beautiful too, they're even a holy weapon. I'll give it to Xianyi. Empress she also liked drawing, I'll take them as well. Lin Feng took everything he could in the coffin chamber. If Empress she had seen him, she would have been angry that he had taken everything, from her clothes down to her teapot. I'm done here it seems, whispered Lin Feng. The items he had just taken seemed ordinary, but he'd inspect them later. After that, Lin Feng walked towards the exit again. The small world was huge, maybe there were other treasures to find. However, very quickly, Lin Feng stopped again and frowned. When he reached the entrance of the room, there were already some people. The strong cultivator from the Qi clan was there too, Qi Yun. Next to Qi Yun, there was Qi Tiansu and some other people. "Where is my sister?" asked Qi Tiansu. "No comment," said Lin Feng in a cold way. "It seems like you don't remember the lesson we taught you last time." "Die!" shouted Qi Yun furiously. He released terrifying energies and took out his ancient broken space mirror. Dazzling lights shot forward. It seemed that they had prepared the ancient broken space mirror before coming. Boom! Terrifying explosions sounded as a gigantic object appeared in front of Lin Feng. It was a bed. The members of the Qi clan were speechless. Lin Feng had taken out a bed. But surprisingly, that bed withstood the ancient broken space mirror. Bzzz, Lin Feng broke his sword talisman. He was sweating intensely. The Qi clan wanted nothing more than to kill him. They even used the ancient broken space mirror against him. Luckily, that bed was solid enough, otherwise, he would have died if the ancient broken space mirror had reached him. "Let's go," said someone from the Qi clan. Then, they ran away. Even if Lin Feng unsheathed Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword, they would have time to react. Lin Feng put the bed away and was upset. Surprisingly, they didn't leave, they were flying up in the air. Did they have a secret method to deal with the Emperor's sword? They have more hidden treasures, thought Lin Feng. If they didn't, they wouldn't have attacked him while he had the Emperor's sword. And now, they had failed once but didn't leave. It was awfully fishy. Lin Feng slowly walked and looked at them. Then, he rose up in the air, moved towards them. He couldn't run away, otherwise they'd know that he couldn't use the Emperor's sword as he wished. "How dare you attack me? Aren't you afraid that I could kill Qi Jiao Jiao?" said Lin Feng. His eyes were black like those of a demon. Qi Yun didn't seem reassured. Lin Feng could unsheath the Emperor's sword at any time. "Lin Feng, we know who you are. You are the king of Shuiyu, your family is in Yangzhou City, so just try and touch my sister," said Qi Tiansu. Lin Feng had killed Qi Tiansheng and captured Qi Jiao Jiao. Then, they had learnt that Lin Feng was from a remote country and coincidentally, they had ended up in Shuiyu. Lin Feng's eyes looked as sharp as swords. Luckily, he had kept Qi Jiao Jiao with him, otherwise, the Qi clan would have attacked his family and friends already. "Come on and take out Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword," said Qi Yun mockingly. Lin Feng hesitated, he could only use it 2 more times. And the Qi clan obviously wanted him to unsheath it. Chapter 1273, Sky-Absorbing Picture Scroll, Imperial Weapon. "Surprisingly, they're asking me to take out Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword," thought Lin Feng. At that moment, a few silhouettes appeared. "You said that Lin Feng is the king of Shuiyu and that his family is in Yangzhou City," asked a cultivator at the top of the Zunqi layer to Qi Tiansu. He was an aggressive cultivator from Tianlong Divine Castle. "Indeed. Yangzhou City," said Qi Tiansu smiling. Lin Feng's eyes were becoming darker and darker, colder and colder. "Why don't you unsheath Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword? Do you want to die?" said Qi Yun smiling coldly. Then, his ancient broken space mirror rose up in the air again and reflected lights off at Lin Feng. Qi Yun didn't dare get near Lin Feng, he was solely relying on the ancient broken space mirror while trying to force Lin Feng to use Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword. "Die!" shouted Qi Yun furiously. Then, terrifying lights emerged from the mirror and shot out towards Lin Feng. Boom boom boom. Lin Feng took out the bed again. The strong cultivators looked at the bed curiously. A bed could block such a terrifying attack. Humph. Qi Yun groaned coldly. His ancient broken space mirror became even larger. He was convinced that Lin Feng was going to take out Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword. Slash, a terrifying sword light moved towards the mirror. Eh. Qi Yun frowned and suddenly, an extremely loud explosion sounded. The mirror was propelled away and crashed onto the ground. Kaboom! Some cracks appeared on the ancient broken space mirror and Qi Yun's facial expression changed drastically. Come back, shouted Qi Yun furiously. But it was useless, the sword was still pressing the mirror against the ground. Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword, shouted Lin Feng. Qi Yun was petrified and moved backwards. Relax, I'm just joking, said Lin Feng laughing. Qi Yun was astonished, Lin Feng was cheating him. Boom, 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 kaboom, terrifying rumbling sounds were resonating. The gigantic sword was crushing the ancient broken space mirror and even more cracks were appearing. Then, the mirror broke into pieces. Slash, the sword turned around and moved towards Qi Yun. The sword Qi blotted out the sky. Piss off, shouted Qi Yun furiously. A gigantic web appeared which contained empty space energies. It enveloped the sword, however, it broke. Broken space. Qi Yun raised his fist and jumped forwards while breaking the space around him. He condensed a terrifying amount of empty space energies in his fist. However, that sword was moving forwards with an indomitable will. It was as if millions of swords had been whistling at the same time. Qi Yun performed a knife hand strike in the air, a trail and then a vortex appeared. The sharp sword pierced through the air and fell into the vortex. Boom boom. The gigantic sword moved into the empty space and strident whistling sounds pierced people's ears. The vortex was going to swallow the sword. Activate, shouted Qi Yun. He put his hand on the vortex and empty space energies dashed to the skies. The gigantic sword finally flew back and turned into a person. Jian Mu. Qi Yun looked at that silhouette in a cold way. Then he looked at his mirror, a peerless holy weapon, but it was completely broken now. Jian Mu, his parents had hoped that he'd turn into a real sword. More than 30 cultivators appeared and surrounded everyone. So many strong cultivators from Jiang'e, alright, said Qi Yun looking upset, but Jiang'e shouldn't forget that we represent the Qi clan from eastern Bahuang. If you dare attack us, the Qi clan will not let Jiang'e off, said someone from the Qi clan. Jian Mu looked at Lin Feng, he was seemingly waiting for Lin Feng's orders. It's not as if I had never killed anyone from the Qi clan, besides, today you attack me first, said Lin Feng. We'll kill everyone from the Qi clan. Everyone, the Qi clan's members were aghast. Qi Yun said coldly, Lin Feng, are you not afraid that we could destroy the imperial palace of Yangzhou City? Destroy the imperial palace? Lin Feng smiled coldly. Shuiyu was a forbidden area now. Emperors couldn't go there anymore and without emperors, they couldn't destroy the imperial palace. Die, said Lin Feng. Alright, you're about to bring about your own destruction, said Qi Yun. A picture scroll appeared containing terrifying empty space energies. Imperial weapon, the crowd took a step back. That's the Qi clan's sky-absorbing picture scroll, many people were astonished to see it. The Qi clan had prepared properly, the emperor had surprisingly given an imperial weapon to Qi Yun before leaving. Imperial clans, no matter whether they had existed for a long time or not, no matter whether their cultivators were extremely strong or not, if they possessed any imperial weapons, they were considered strong. The Qi clan was one of the imperial clans from eastern Bahuang, so they probably had more than one imperial weapon. It looked similar to their spirit, thought Lin Feng when he saw the sky-absorbing picture scroll. Lin Feng couldn't control his Tianji sword as it was moving towards the sky-absorbing picture scroll like metal attracting to a magnet. So he put it away. It was no wonder that Qi Yun wanted me to use Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword, thought Lin Feng. Even if he had used Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword, it would have been swallowed up by the sky-absorbing picture scroll. Take, said Qi Yun. His sky-absorbing picture scroll absorbed everything around him, including the many swords in the air. Imperial weapons are terrifying. That sky-absorbing picture scroll can even absorb other imperial weapons. It's a perfect item to steal treasures, thought the crowd. Chapter 1274, Infuriating Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword. Young master, let's go, shouted Jianmu, taking Lin Feng away. All the other strong cultivators from Jiang'e did the same. You think you can escape? Shouted someone furiously. Dragon claws launched out at Lin Feng. If that hand managed to catch Lin Feng, he would die. Lacerate. Jianmu moved behind Lin Feng and blocked the dragon hand. At the same time, empty space energies launched out towards Lin Feng from the other direction. Tianlong Divine Castle. Once the other cultivators noticed that Lin Feng couldn't use Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword, they decided to attack too. Qi Yun, hurry up and attack, shouted a cultivator at the top of the Zun Qi layer from Tianlong Divine Castle. The sky-absorbing picture scroll became gigantic and dazzling golden marks started flashing. The sky-absorbing picture scroll doesn't just absorb weapons, it can also absorb people. Qi Yun rose up in the air and stood up next to the sky-absorbing picture scroll. He looked at Lin Feng and the others in a disdainful way. Jiang'e has fallen for thousands of years and yet, you still dare fight the Qi clan, capture them, shouted Qi Yun furiously. Then the imperial weapon moved towards them. Young master, shouted Jianmu. Lin Feng was moving towards the sky-absorbing picture scroll. Jianmu didn't know what Lin Feng was thinking. Everybody, let's go inside, shouted Jianmu. They all followed Lin Feng and disappeared inside the sky-absorbing picture scroll. Even the trees on the ground were absorbed into the sky-absorbing picture scroll. The sky-absorbing picture scroll is an empty space. Lin Feng was in that empty space observing the gigantic enlightenment marks. That weapon had been fabricated by an emperor who mastered the arts of empty space spells. Young master. Jiang'e's strong cultivators were now next to Lin Feng. Jianmu didn't look happy, but when he saw that Lin Feng looked calm, he nodded. That was their ancestor's sword, he would manage to remain calm no matter what happened. Lin Feng nodded. He realized he could still see everything that was happening outside. He could even hear sounds from outside. Lin Feng, release Qi Jiao Jiao and we won't kill your family. The sky-absorbing picture scroll became small before Qi Yun grabbed it. Qi Yun knew how to control it, otherwise the Qi clan wouldn't have given it to him. Lin Feng's eyes looked cold as yelled back, an imperial clan would dare attack cultivators of the Tian Qi layer and Xian Qi layer? I'll repeat myself one more time, release Qi Jiao Jiao. Otherwise, we'll kill everyone in Yangzhou City in front of you, said Qi Yun aggressively. However, Lin Feng was stuck in the sky-absorbing picture scroll. How could he release Qi Jiao Jiao? If he did, they probably wouldn't keep their promise. If you dare attack my clan, I'll kill Qi Jiao Jiao, said Lin Feng. Then, he closed his eyes and visualized a small sword. You're dull and stupid, I'll kill your clan and then I'll kill you, said Qi Yun. Then, a terrifying Qi invaded the sky-absorbing picture scroll. Turn into swords and protect the young master, said Jianmu. In a flash, they all turned into dazzling swords and surrounded him. The empty space energies collided with the sword energies in the empty space, emitting strident sounds. Qi Yun looked at them coldly and said, let's see how long you can hold it. Unfortunately, he couldn't control the sky-absorbing picture scroll that well, otherwise, he would have killed them all in one strike. Since you're that dull and stupid, Tian Su, follow your third uncle and go to Yangzhou City. Then, kill his family and friends, said Qi Yun. Inside the imperial palace was Jian Ling Kong and Jian Ling Shao, but Lin Feng was worried. How come Qi Tian Su wasn't scared? Just how strong was his third uncle? They were probably cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer. Qi Yun wanted to stay there and continue hunting treasures. He had the sky-absorbing picture scroll after all. Lin Feng was visualizing a small sword while he was communicating with Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword in his mind. Little boy, they want to imprison you here, said Lin Feng to the sword. The sword shook and pointed to Lin Feng. Your Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword, but they've used an ordinary imperial weapon to trap you in the empty space picture scroll forever, continued Lin Feng. He wanted to infuriate Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword. Qi Yun thought he could control Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword, therefore, he wanted to keep Lin Feng and the sword inside of the sky-absorbing picture scroll, but Lin Feng knew that Qi Yun couldn't control Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword because it already had its own life, its own soul. It didn't want to be controlled by anyone, let alone an ordinary imperial weapon. The small sword looked sharp and a little angry. Remember how majestic Emperor Wu Tianjian used to be, he had no enemies in the entire province of Ba Huang. Now, we don't know where he is. Imagine how ridiculous it would be if you ended up in the hands of Emperor Qi. Surprisingly, he gave a feudal cultivator at the top of the Zun Qi layer an imperial weapon to fight you, Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword. What a humiliation. That's not just a humiliation for you, but also for Emperor Wu Tianjian, said Lin Feng sighing. Slash, slash, as expected, the sword reacted and exhaled sharp sword energies. Bzzz. Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword whistled as it jumped out of Lin Feng's body. Lin Feng suddenly opened his eyes and smiled indifferently. He thought, it doesn't count, I didn't ask the sword to come out. Boom. Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword suddenly seemed like it could destroy anything. A demonic enlightenment web then appeared, wanting to envelop the sword. Kaboom! Thunderous lights appeared and shook the space. At the same time, Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword released terrifying sword energies of which the enlightenment marks couldn't block. Jiang's strong cultivators also stopped blocking and opened their eyes. They raised their heads and looked at their ancestor's sword. How powerful. CRRR, CRRR, the sky-absorbing picture scroll started enlarging, so much so that it left Qi Yun's hand. Lin Feng is using Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword, but how come it's so big? Qi Yun was shaking. How could he know that Lin Feng wasn't controlling the sword, let alone that he couldn't control it? Boom! Terrifying energies appeared, the earth and sky were shaking violently and so did the sky-absorbing picture scroll. It was as if a battle was occurring inside. You're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.